Well, we would have gone 1-1, right? The two plays we liked were Vegas and hockey and Texas Tech and hoops.
I didn't realize Texas Tech was a go, but I knew Vegas was the one we liked, and I know I didn't play it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because we would have gone 1-1. We liked Texas Tech. They didn't quite fit the criteria, though, because they were a slight favorite. But we didn't like Kansas going on the road. Then we find out, like 4 hours before the game, that two of Kansas's guys in the rotation aren't going to play.
I didn't hear. If I'd have heard that, if you'd have told me that, I probably would have made the bet. I went to bed early last night.
Yeah, I did too.
I did not see tip of Kansas, Texas.
No.
Tech.
Well, I don't know if I was up for tip, but I didn't turn it on.
My wife was watching gymnastics in the living room. I went to the bedroom and put Duke and Wake Forest on, and that put me right to sleep.
There you go. Morning ambient.
Good morning, all, and thank you for getting up this early with us. It's remarkable.
It is.
It truly is. Humbles me every morning. Because Lord knows I wouldn't be getting up for many people at this time.
Hell, we barely get up for each other.
And you are right. It is the Patsky. That's a Chicago thing they make. Yes. I've never had one of those. They look wonderful.
What's that?
Paczki.
Paczki.
Paczki?
Puchki. It's Polish. I don't know how it's
pronounced.
Yes. Is that the same as is that
no? It's not
pierogi?
No.
No.
It's more like a donut, David.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is like a jelly-filled donut. That's pretty much what it is.
I wonder if I can go to I've got to play golf today, but there's a bakery in Cape Coral that has lots of stuff. I'd eat one of those today. It's cute, Luke.
Here we go.
Right, a real sport. Yeah.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday after the Super Bowl. It'll be okay. Trust us. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com, and it is Fat Tuesday. First off, I've been fat on Tuesdays since the Clinton administration. And secondly, this day helped make Miller and Moulton happen back in the day. Isn't that right, Mark? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, David, and happy Fat Tuesday to you. I'm going to eat all damn day.
Mark, this just in. I live my life like every day is Fat Tuesday, but I never get to the Ash Wednesday part. See, that's the thing. I'm stuck on Fat Tuesday.
I understand, but it was many years ago that David was working afternoons. I was doing mornings in Southwest Florida. And David was doing a show on Fat Tuesday.
In fact, and Pat Kirwan joins us on this Fat Tuesday in a couple hours, brought to you by Pinchers. I was on location at a Pinchers.
Okay. So you were at a Pinchers. I knew you weren't in studio.
Right.
And you were doing a show about fat athletes, having a little fun with Fat Tuesday.
Right.
Who are your favorite fat athletes?
Right.
And I was enjoying the hell out of it, doing my sales calls in the car. And I came in and I went to your producer at the time, our old producer, John, and I walked in with a sheet of paper and had like 5 athletes written down. I said, here, you're missing these guys. And John, because it was territorial, not that David and I were rivals or anything, but I did my show, David at his show. He didn't come on my show. I didn't go on his show. That's just
Right.
the way things worked. So I handed him this piece of paper. I was trying to, provide a little bit of help with some other athletes that they had missed. And John just pointed, said, sit down. Don't leave.
Right.
And John kind of introduced me and said, Mark's got something to add. And we ended up doing an hour.
Right.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
And we had a really good time. That was, to me, the first time that I said Miller and Moulton together will work.
And the funny thing is, Miller and Moulton had done many an hour together. It was just usually at a bar.
Right.
Okay, this was the first time in which we didn't have drinks associated with it. So that's why, you and I, it was just like picking up after a hockey game. We were just starting a little early. And so people were surprised. It's like, you guys are going to do a show? It's like, well, actually, it's kind of the basis of our friendship. We've done shows. We've done hundreds of them before and after games and what have you. But yes, this was the first time we were ever on the air together. It was a Fat Tuesday. It was 19 years ago, actually.
Okay.
It was, I think it was 05. It might have been 06. No, it was 18 years ago. It was 06. It was Fat Tuesday in 06. And then a couple of months later, you and I you were mornings, I was afternoons. We did it for a year and a half. You did a show, then you sold. I sold, then did a show. It was hard. And we said, listen, we don't have a lot of resources at this station. Why are we splitting up our resources? Why don't we just do one good show? Okay. And at the time, Mike and Mike, they were, a pretty good morning show.
They were big, right? And we were not running them. So we thought it would be best to run them.
And then we'll do afternoons and then we'll sell Mike and Mike. And so, we can probably make the station better and make more money and make life a little easier for us. And now here we are.
And we're still putzing along.
I'm still fat on Tuesdays. Okay. And I don't know what's Mark's excuse. But Miller and Moulton, here we are. Thanks so much for being with us. David Samson will join us in a little less than an hour. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. He made it back from Vegas. I was worried because he was planning a red eye. And when we're playing a whole fifth quarter, the game literally went an hour longer than the game is supposed to go. And I know, even though the airport's pretty close, I know this is not going to be easy getting there. So Pat did make it, did his show. He got in front of his computer, had his headset on about an hour before his show yesterday.
Good deal. I have a question for you right off the hop, and I hate to bring snark into the show this early.
Right.
But for a guy who is very against the whole Happy New Year after a couple of days,
right.
You began the show this morning by saying the Tuesday after the Super Bowl. How long is it? Is it going to be the Wednesday after the Super Bowl? Is it going to be the Thursday after the Super Bowl? How long are we going to carry this out, David?
It'll probably die sometime during the show, actually. All right, it really will. This will definitely be it. It'll probably die after Pat Kirwan. Kind of like, okay, got to put that sucker to bed. Now it's full steam ahead. Even though me in a parade, and they are having their parade tomorrow. So there you have it.
Yeah, well, they're getting good at these. They don't even have to put the route in the paper. Everybody knows the route by now.
Well, and the funny thing is that the Royals got them started. They had to plan the Royals parade first in 2015. And then eventually the football team caught up.
Did they ever?
Yep. fact, somebody sent something out in which I guess it was 10 or 11 years ago at this time that the Royals were coming off a 100 loss season and the Chiefs had gone 2-14. I think it was like 11 years ago today. It was either 10 or 11 years ago today.
So there's hope, is what you're saying, for all these other cities that are out there.
And that they said, now look what's happened. 2 World Series appearances and a title, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 titles, basically like, who'd have thunk it from where we were at this day in time. And so I throw that out there to try to be hopeful to you and who your teams are and go, A, it's possible. And B, are you maybe, below the surface? Are you an iceberg? Is your favorite team an iceberg? We're only seeing what's above the water. And as they say, there's far more below the water than above it. Like the Royals, their young players hadn't popped yet. And they were about to make some key veteran acquisitions. The Chiefs, obviously, they ended up turning to this Andy Reid guy. Had a pretty good run with the Eagles. The other thing that's been pointed out is that when Andy Reid went to the Eagles, Andy Reid was 1-4 in NFC Championship games and 0-1 in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid couldn't win the big one. And then remember, his first AFC Championship game with the Chiefs, they lose in overtime to Brady, Belichick, and the Patriots. So heading into the 2019 season, Andy's been in 6 conference championship games. He's won 1. And then the 1 Super Bowl he got to. Remember that long drive in Jacksonville in which the Eagles never did the hurry up and they did this there's 10 minutes to go in the game when they get the ball and they take 7+ minutes on this long touchdown drive and they never go and hurry up the pace. And it's kind of like, guys, you're down 10. What are you doing? And the Patriots basically could run the ball 3 times and run out the clock. And so people were really questioning Andy Reid. Mark, I feel as if look at Kyle Shanahan's record right now. And look at Andy Reid's record a half a dozen years ago. They're very similar. In fact, Kyle's been to 2 Super Bowls. And Andy had only been to 1.
And Andy got blamed a lot more then than now for what? Not running the football.
Yes.
Of being afraid and not having a team that could convert 3rd and 1.
Mm-hmm. And hell, they had to run Mahomes in the Super Bowl to convert 3rd and 4th and 1. So, but Kyle,
Shanahan's in that same, what did Shanahan not do in the Super Bowl? He didn't run the ball in the 3rd quarter. What did he do when he was with Atlanta? He didn't run the ball in the 3rd quarter. I mean, there are more similarities than it meets the eye with these two.
Kyle Shanahan right now is what Andy Reid was a half a dozen years ago. He's a guy who can't win the big one. As a coordinator or as a head coach, he's been in 3 Super Bowls. He's had a double-digit lead in all 3. 2 of them in the 4th quarter. He's yet to get a ring. And they've lost a couple of conference championship games along the way. Now, they've obviously won a couple. Kyle's just taken the Niners to what? 4 NFC title games in 5 years. Andy Reid, when he was in Philly, what did he do? 4 straight conference championship games. I mean, there are a lot of similarities. Their age at the time. Andy Reid, when he left Philadelphia, was in his early 50s, approaching mid-50s, because Andy, I think, is 65 now. I think, yeah, he turned 66 next month. So Andy's been in Kansas City about a decade. So at the end of Andy's run in Philly, Andy was like 53 because he went straight to Kansas City, I believe. I don't think he had a year off. But you get the idea. And Kyle Shanahan, he's still younger than that, but the similar, there are many. You can draw some parallels here. You can connect some dots, Mark, if you'd like to. So, I know Kyle Shanahan. First off, I'm pretty sure he's not listening right now, and secondly, I'm sure if he was listening, he tuned it out 4 minutes ago because he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to hear this." But just trying to throw it out there, give you the sense that first off, if your city, the teams that you root for, like Mark, okay, what if now the Lions had a breakthrough season,
Right.
but what if we had told you, like a year or so ago, 2 years ago even, because didn't the Tigers a couple years ago lose 100 games?
Had to
And
be right around there. I mean, they've been pretty bad here for a while. So
and we all know what the Lions had done up until the last couple years, and now, and the Red Wings were the Dead Wings. Not quite as bad as they were in the 80s, but you know what I mean. They were going through this lull. And now you could make the case that, hey, you could see a little something happening here.
no, there's light at the end of the tunnel for a Detroit sports fan. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
And is it that way for a Florida fan base? The problem is, the Lightning have won cups. Bucks have won a Super Bowl. The Heat have won titles and played for titles. I mean, it's don't know if it really applies in the state of Florida.
It doesn't.
No. I mean,
Jacksonville won the division a year ago. The Rays have been consistently good.
Right. But we know we have a lot of people listening who, not necessarily grew up in Florida and root for Florida teams. So your favorite team may be elsewhere. Listen, it turned around in Kansas City very quickly from 10 years ago. It can happen to you too.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Did you happen to watch The Daily Show last night, David?
No. Recorded it, but did not watch.
This is a golf shirt, EB. I have a 1 o'clock tea time. I'm telling you, they just make up stats at ESPN so they can fit the narrative into whatever. I mean, they have most games with 30 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and a 70% field goal percentage.
Is this Wemby?
No, it was Giannis. Wemby just had the 10 block triple-double last night.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, both NBA games that I liked, I would have lost.
What were they?
The Clippers,
Mm-hmm.
and they got whooped. And I didn't really read into it, but your Knicks were the other one because they were playing Houston.
Yeah, they're still shorthanded, and I didn't like that. The one that I was thinking about was Golden State. They've made a change to their lineup. They've reduced Clay's minutes, and they've found something. They had won 4 in a row going into last night.
And they won big last night, too.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Uh-huh. With like the whole coaching staff over in Serbia there for the
Funeral.
yeah. They left like Kenny Atkinson and the trainers behind. You see some of the Duncan outtakes. Apparently, they set up a tire. Okay,
Yeah,
just offset.
I saw those
So-
yesterday.
So there's Brady and Affleck and Damon in outfit, killing time, throwing the football at the tire.
I just like when Brady told Affleck to move his hands. I don't want to hurt your hands. Move them.
I love the fact they're amazed that Brady can keep throwing the football through the tire. You guys did watch him play, right? Pretty accurate.
This isn't that hard of a drill for him. This just in.
Nobody's coming at him. All right. It's controlled everything. Yeah.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton, along the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We have to start moving on to other sports. I get that. I do. And we have throughout. I mean, in fact, we get people going, "What are you doing a NASCAR segment for?" NBA
And that's
season,
just me.
NBA season doesn't start till April. We actually do talk about other things a lot. But all right, here you go. My $20. Who's the team based on preseason odds that you would throw a few shekels on? to win the Super Bowl next year. A lot of places the Niners are the favorite. I happen to have Bet Online's odds in front of me here.
Okay.
And they have the Chiefs listed ahead of the Niners.
All
5-1 to 6-1. Lions 7-1, by the way.
I saw them at 11-1 somewhere else, but yes.
Ravens 12-1. Bills 14-1. How about Joe Burrow and the Bengals, along with Jordan Love and the Packers at 16-1? You feeling it? A healthy Joe Burrow? The Bengals getting back up on the horse? The Packers, are they going to be, they snuck into the playoffs, which Detroit couldn't do in 2022. And then they made a little bit of noise, and Detroit probably would have made a little bit of noise if they had managed to get in 2022. Could Green Bay next year be what Detroit was this year, if you know what I mean? Then you know what? I'm glad that I found this particular betting service and I'm going with their odds, because they have the Cowboys and the Dolphins with the same odds. And the Cowboys and the Dolphins should be joined at the hip. They should be. They're the same team. Dolphins have had 4 straight winning seasons. They don't have a playoff win to show for it. We all know about the Cowboys. And they've had 3 consecutive 12-win seasons. They have 1 playoff win to show for it. And so the Cowboys and the Dolphins, along with the Eagles, are 18-1. Then it's the Chargers. 22-1. They just went 5-12. The Chargers, think of all the teams with a winning record, that the Chargers are better odds to win the Super Bowls than. Better than the Texans. Better than the Browns. Better than the Jags. Better than the Rams. Better than the Colts. Better than Tampa Bay. Better than Pittsburgh. Hell, Seattle won 9 games. They didn't make the playoffs, but they won 9 games. All teams that had winning records, most of the teams I just rattled off made the playoffs. The Jim Harbaugh factor. Is he going to do in Los Angeles with the Chargers what he did in San Francisco with the Niners? Because that happened immediately. The Niners were a mess. Harbaugh comes in, and if a punt returner doesn't muff a punt in the 4th quarter of the NFC Championship game against the Giants, the Niners would have gone to the Super Bowl. By the way, does that sound familiar at all? Big game, a muffed punt, a screw up on a punt. Does that sound familiar at all for the Niners? 12 years later, it probably just cost them a Super Bowl. You know what? If we can go backwards in time for a second, Niners, they lost that game in the 3rd quarter. We talked about, they didn't run the ball, but man, remember, they get 3 stops to start the 3rd quarter. The last stop was an interception. I mean, they got the ball in Chiefs territory. They don't, at 1 first down, they're at least getting a field goal. The lead's back up to 10.
Yeah, and they went backward.
The first 9 possessions, Chiefs had 9 possessions, 5 punts, 2 field goals, 2 turnovers. I mean, you got to be kidding. I mean, and the Niners didn't win that game? Think about that. If we had said before the game starts, by the way, Chiefs' first 9 possessions, 2 field goals, 2 turnovers, 5 punts. You'd be like, holy blank, Niners are going to kick them. This is going to be the Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl all over again. And if you really think about it, the only time the Chiefs put a drive together and scored a touchdown was in overtime. Only other touchdown they scored in the game was after the muffed punt. They got the ball in the red zone.
By the way, just a couple of teams, and I don't have your odds in front of me, David. I've got the Hard Rock odds. They're quite different. But you mentioned the Dolphins. I've got the Dolphins at 20-1. The Jags are 30-1.
33-1 on this one.
Same. The Chargers, Jets, and Jags are all the same odds, as well as the Rams. But the Cleveland Browns are 40-1.
33-1 on this one. Yeah, I know.
I
know.
I mean,
I know. Exactly. Yeah, pretty good defense.
The Bucs at 60-1, I get it. If you want to put them back there, okay, whatever. But the Bears, I mean, the Browns have a good defense. They do have Deshaun Watson, who before the injury played really well, and that one baffles me a little bit.
I'm with you. I am with you. Also, the Rams. They cleared out all their cap problems. I mean, unless Aaron Donald retires, but if Stafford and Donald are coming back, those two receivers, that coach, the transition that they made this year.
So that was the team of all of the teams on here. When I looked at the Browns and their number, that one surprised me the most. I'm with you. The Rams at that number seem like some good value.
Here's another team. What are the Steelers on the Hard Rock app?
75-1.
66-1 on this one. They did win 10 games last year.
The Steelers, Raiders, Saints, Seahawks, and Cardinals all have the same odds on the Hard Rock app.
What if and someone in our Twitch chat room just brought up what I'm about to bring up, and I was thinking this before the show. What if the Steelers got Kirk Cousins? Now, granted, these odds would change. We get it, but it's why maybe you throw a few shekels down on somebody in mid-February before free agency begins in mid-March, before the draft in late April. But seriously, if you look at the Steelers, you go, they're pretty good, don't have a quarterback. What if they get one? What if Atlanta? What's Atlanta's odds on the Hard Rock app?
40-1.
Yeah, 33-1 here. Same odds as the Browns. What if the Falcons all of a sudden get Kirk Cousins?
And the Vikings are 50-1, which they're saying they're not going to have Kirk Cousins.
Exact same odds here. Tampa Bay, by the way, 50-1.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's 60-1 on the Hard Rock app.
Which is interesting because there's no thought they're going to lose their quarterback. Now, they may very well lose Mike Evans. I've already seen reports where Evans is going to get $25 million a year on the open market. I don't know if that's true or not, but.
Well, similar with the Vikings. I mean, they're probably going to lose Cousins, and they might lose Jefferson too.
Well, Jefferson's still under contract for a bit. Plus, they can start tagging Jefferson if they really want to. But Jefferson may not sign long-term with them. That's true. If Jefferson doesn't like what they're doing at the quarterback position, he's already said, I'm holding off on signing a contract until I see what we're doing at quarterback. The starting five is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
DC depends on the team. And the receiver. I mean, in Minnesota, he's arguably the best in the game. So, I mean, those guys get paid. Boogity, boogity, boogity. He doesn't do that anymore. By the way, we are going to place a bet tomorrow.
Okay.
On a college basketball game in Detroit. Because winless, I believe it's Wednesday.
Oh, UD Mercy?
Winless Detroit Mercy is hosting 6-win Ooey Pooey. And we are going to bet Detroit Mercy.
He's literally going for the signature rule. And he's just going to break it. Don't waste good money on bad teams.
Well, first off, they're both bad teams.
Exactly.
But, Mark, If they're
Ambient, no, I do no. I can't believe you're asking the two of us that question.
come on,
Come on.
Ambient.
Come on.
Are you serious? God. Mark, if they're going to win, they're 0-26. If they're going to win a game, it's the first of a 3-game homestand. This is it, baby.
Okay, if they lose, are you planning on chasing?
Nope. I mean, I will say Mississippi Valley State lost last night. They're 0-24. I mean, Mercy's got competition.
They're really bad. I've bet on them a bit this year, but I haven't watched them. I just kind of like check.
I know.
Afterwards. Oh, they're terrible.
They are. They're 0-26.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. That's when David Samson joins us. Be very curious his thoughts on life in the pursuit of happiness that has transpired over the last few days. Not like there's anything that's happened or anything. Super Bowl and everything that went along with it. Never mind everything else going on in the sports world. David Samson, top of the hour. Pat Kirwan in a little more than an hour. Right now, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
number 1, the NFL. Most watched Super Bowl ever. That was easy to predict. First off, the league's arguably never been more popular. Secondly, games peak late, and this one had an entire 5th quarter. So they were going to carry that peak audience for a longer period of time than any Super Bowl ever. CBS and Nielsen estimate over 123 million viewers. 120 of that on CBS.
Most watched television program since the moon landing.
That, by the way, was 1969. If you're just looking for a little perspective. It's been a while. Chiefs will have their Super Bowl parade tomorrow. Is that how you celebrate Valentine's Day if you're in Kansas City? Honey! No. We're not going to go out to dinner. Okay? We're going to, cut off from work, and we're going to stand out in the cold. Okay? By the way, I don't think Taylor will be in the parade. Doesn't she have to
No, she's in Australia, right?
Yeah, doesn't she have to get on a plane and go? Back to work, young lady. Back to work.
Someone in this relationship actually works for a living.
Somebody else has 6 months off. Love you, honey. Gotta go. Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, they both say, we're not retiring. Andy will be 66 next month. Chiefs obviously with a chance to make history next year. No one's ever three-peated. Travis will start next season at 34 and turn 35 1 month into it. He certainly looked good in the playoffs. He looked like the guy we had seen for the last half dozen years. Had his burst back. Huge second half, by the way. 8 receptions in the second half and overtime in the Super Bowl win. So the Cowboys made it official. Apparently they were really considering Rex Ryan, but they went with Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator. He's 67 years old, the former Vikings head coach who was a Dallas assistant for a long time. It's fascinating. Zimmer's personality, he loves Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization. Jerry and the Cowboys organization has got a rep with some in which, they're not serious enough. Zimmer's a hard-nosed Parcells type guy. Sean Payton loves Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization. So it's interesting. I think Mark Zimmer is exactly what the Cowboys need. Okay, the Cowboys need to blow all the hot air out of the organization. And that starts with Jarrah. Jarrah needs to be angry all of next year when he does his radio show. He needs to be, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm fed up. These guys haven't proven anything. I'm spending $250 million plus, okay, and they haven't won squat. Are they any good? As far as I'm concerned, no.
I'm just curious how Zimmer is going to prevent Dak from throwing interceptions in the postseason.
Yeah, he's going to have nothing to do with that, unfortunately. But I think that the Cowboys need a little bit more Mike Zimmer. I do. Steelers released 3 players yesterday, including their punter, Presley Harvin, but they also released Mitch Trubisky. They save about $13 million in salary cap space with the 3 guys they released. They only save about $3 million with Trubisky. They're still on the books for over $4 million with Trubisky, but they saved 3 by releasing him now. Mark, Trubisky was the first quarterback taken in the 2017 draft. Do you know who the second quarterback taken was? Wait for it. He played Sunday night.
Is it that Mahomes guy?
You are correct, sir. Yes. That's considered a miss, wouldn't you say?
It is.
That's a miss. Yeah. Some college football news. UCLA went with Deshaun Foster. I like it. He had been with the Bruins for 10 years. He literally had left a couple of weeks ago to go to the NFL and be a running backs coach with Vegas. Now he comes back. He's a former Bruin player, very popular, not only within the team, but even within the athletic department. And I think UCLA is going to need that going forward because it's going to be tough for them in the Big Ten. So,
can you say Nebraska?
Well, without the tradition,
right?
UCLA had 2 good decades. They had the 80s and the 90s. That's what they were. I could argue, Mark, the last time that UCLA played a meaningful, big time game for UCLA, not like when they upset USC in 2006, which propelled Florida into the national title game. Not when they posted a big upset, but when UCLA was playing for UCLA, 1998, they had a chance to play for the BCS title. They had an early season game against Miami that got postponed because of a hurricane, and they played it like the first Saturday in December in Miami. Edgerrin James rushed for like 300 yards. All right. And the Canes upset UCLA and kept UCLA out of the BCS title game. It helped get Florida State in the game. A lot of upsets happened that day. Tennessee upset Florida, then they get upset in the SEC title game. I mean, it was crazy, the end of the 98 regular season. Anyway, he gets a 5-year contract. He's going to need it. Gators lost their new strength and conditioning coach. They were saying this is a great hire. Okay, can't believe we got this guy, Craig Fitzgerald. Yeah, he's good friends with Bill O'Brien. He left to go work at Boston College. Yeah, let me tell you, better be good friends. You left Florida to go to Boston College. But then again, don't all weight rooms look the same? Does it really matter?
They do, but there's no doubt that coach means a lot to a program.
Well, also, the guy you just signed with in Florida, he could be in the final year of his tenure there. The guy who just signed in Boston College just got a 5-year deal, and you figure he's going to get at least 4. So, just saying. So now the Gators are back to square one with strength and conditioning. Hasn't been the best offseason for Florida. They needed a great offseason. It hasn't been great. It's been okay. At times pretty good, but not great. NBA. Wembanyama, 27 points, 14 rebounds, 10 blocks. How about that triple-double? That's the Mutombo triple-double, right?
Sure is. The double-digit blocks last night.
San Antonio's big win over Toronto. Houston, 2 free throws with basically no time left on the clock to beat the Knicks, 105-103. Philly snapped the Cavs' 9-game winning streak. Went into Cleveland, beat them 123-121 without Embiid. All right, for all the knocking of Doc Rivers that we've done, the Milwaukee Bucks team who showed up last night, they beat Denver 112-95. They played a little defense. Giannis, 36 points, 18 rebounds. Very interesting. Golden State won their 5th straight. They're over 500. They went into Utah, beat the Jazz by 22. And give it up for the T-Wolves. They went into Los Angeles last night. They were playing the Clippers for the 1 seed. They whooped them, 121-100. You buying the T-Wolves?
David, seriously, I don't know. It is so hard with who plays and who doesn't play on a nightly basis to find out who the best teams are. I don't think they're the best team in the West. But last night was a big prove-it game to go in and get the Clippers. That's impressive, David. That has to count for something.
It's interesting. You know, the top 2 seeds in the West could be Minnesota and OKC. Just curious, you know, and we all know who will be lined up behind them. And is anybody going to put good money on Minnesota and OKC? Or are they going to put all their money on Denver and Phoenix and Dallas and possibly, you know, the Lakers and the Warriors? And you know the drill.
Well, we'll start hearing about it often now that the Lakers, David, they're built for the playoffs. They're not built for the regular season.
Mark, what I want to know is, with Mahomes and the Chiefs winning their 3rd Super Bowl, what does that do to LeBron's legacy?
Well, it affects it, David, negatively.
We'll have more coming up later on Get Up. College hoops. Duke held off Wake at Cameron last night, 77-69. You know, Mark, we should have bet that Texas Tech-Kansas game.
Probably should have.
Especially when we found out a couple hours before tip that Kansas is going to have 2 of their regular guys in the rotation not play. Yeah, they mailed one in Lubbock last night. Texas Tech beat the Jayhawks 79-50. In-state, Bethune a winner, FAMU a loser. FAMU's 4-18, but Mississippi Valley State's 0-24. They lost at home to Alcorn State. Mark, Detroit Mercy's 0-26. Mississippi Valley State's 0-24.
I feel horrible for those players. Do you know how hard that must be to go to practice every day?
I know.
You know, walk around campus. I mean, that just has to be miserable.
You go to class, okay, people start gossiping about you. You know, meanwhile, when you're on a good team, you go to class, they applaud when you walk in. You know, instead this team, it's like, yeah, it's Johnny. Yeah, he sucks.
I mean, the coaches and all that, I feel badly for them, but not the way I feel for the players. The coaches are getting paid handsomely to lose all these games. The players are the ones. There's not a lot of NIL money.
At Mississippi Valley State? No, there's not.
Right.
Rankings came out yesterday. UConn, Purdue, Houston, Marquette, your top 4 seeds. So in theory, they'd be the ones right now. FAU still ranked in the AP. They're 24th. They're out of the coaches poll. Women's hoops, South Carolina, Ohio State, Stanford, Iowa. Your top 4 in the country. South Carolina still unbeaten. Rangers have won 5 in a row. They shut out Calgary 2-0. New Jersey got a goal and assist from Jack Hughes. They beat Seattle 3-1. Philly with 3 in the third beat Arizona 5-3. Minnesota with 3 in the third beat Vegas 5-3. Good thing we didn't bet it. And Northeastern won the Bean Pot for the 5th time in 6 years. They beat BU in overtime. The Bean Pot's the 4 Boston area hockey teams, Northeastern, BU, BC, and Harvard. They play over 2 weeks every year. It's kind of a thing. Remember that proposed arena in Northern Virginia for the Caps and the Wizards? Yeah, the person who's in charge of the money in the Virginia Senate, yeah, she said, quote, the deal is dead. Now, I will say, everyone else is like, no, what are you talking about? Including the governor. But she's like, well, I control the money. As far as I'm concerned, it's dead. College baseball, the Gators signed their head coach, Kevin O'Sullivan, to an extension for 9 more years. He's making nearly $2 million a year.
to coach college baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, granted, I mean, it's the top 5 program in the country.
Yeah, I understand. That's one. That's SEC money, and I get it. Does the baseball program deliver that kind of revenue?
Well, we'll take a look. And Tiger Woods officially partnering with TaylorMade to launch, get ready for it, Sun Day Red. 3 separate words. It's not Sunday Red. Remember, he wears the red shirt on Sundays. It's Sun Day Red. That's his new brand in conjunction with TaylorMade. Tiger playing in his tournament this week, the Genesis out in California. So there you go. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
You get it? Sun Day Red. Apparently, he doesn't have a caddy because he let LaCava lead him full time to go work for Cantlay. So he's borrowing some guy who's a caddying for a Corn Ferry guy who just got promoted onto tour and doesn't have a tournament to play in this week. So he's using him for this week, but he literally did say Charlie might be on his bag. I mean, for the Master. I mean, seriously, he's like, I don't have a caddy right now. Mark, you want a caddy for Tiger?
No.
You can't keep up?
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6. And live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. There he is. Morning, David.
How are you?
I am great. How you doing?
Good. Okay.
How you doing? How's life?
I am good. Thank you. No
Life
complaints.
good?
It's
Everybody close? Everybody close to you healthy or?
mostly, I would say.
Okay. All right.
Occasional doses of shittiness like everybody else.
Huh. I mean,
But,
it's a
that's how
day
it
that
goes.
ends in Y. Come on now.
Exactly correct. How's the show going so far today?
Oh no, we're decent at this. We got it going on. We're okay.
Yes, you
We
are.
won't struggle for a couple more months.
Right. June and July. You can fake it a little bit in August, but
I have been lucky. My rundowns come together every day. I mean, it's an obsession and a routine doing the rundown every day, Sunday through Thursday. But there's no down period for crazy business
No.
stories.
Well, that's the other
I'll
thing,
tell you
David.
that.
It's funny. Like we've joked around. The sports gods deliver. All of a sudden,
Amazing.
you think there's nothing, and then a Deshaun Watson story breaks, or
Right.
this story. I mean, it has been incredible the last few summers. What's happened?
do you know what changed us, David, for the good? We did 3-hour shows through the pandemic where there were a lot of shows that stopped doing it. There's there's nothing to talk about. We found so much, and we did sports. We didn't do politics in the pandemic, and we did sports when no sports were happening, and we got really into it. And
I
by the
love that.
time we were done getting through that summer, we kind of looked at one another differently, like, wow, there's always a lot of meat on this bone.
I'm with you. Nothing personal really grew during the pandemic, which was crazy.
Now, people were also looking for original content. That's the other thing we found out.
That's
People
for
were
sure.
thankful we were doing the show.
Listen, you guys answer the bell every day, and that matters. People are addicted to the consistency of it.
There's no doubt there. There's no doubt there.
People like routine. So do I. We're just the deliverers. The other people are the deliverees.
Here we go.
Good morning, Trent.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it is that day and time once again to be joined by the award-winning David Samson. Nothing personal with David Samson. The multi-award-winning David Samson, we should say. He does that nothing personal with David Samson thing, 8 a.m. weekdays live. Download it or just watch the damn thing live. All right. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at David, the letter P Samson, David P Samson. Top of the morning to you. How'd you enjoy the Super Bowl?
I actually loved it. I even loved the first half when people were complaining that they thought the game was a little sloppy. It was a bunch of turnovers. The ball seemed like it had grease on it. But I just love competitive games. I love storylines. And I'm keeping track during the game for Monday's show about my top 5 commercials, the top 5 stories of the Super Bowl and takeaways. And my sheet was full after, at halftime. And that's the sign of a good game. And of course, the second half was outstanding.
All right, I want to get to the overtime with you because I was trying to. I don't know if there is a baseball equivalent, but Shanahan's getting a lot of grief because his players are coming out after the fact going, we didn't know what the overtime rules were, which is, it's damn. He's not getting fired, and I don't want. But I mean, that's something that if you're an owner, you're bringing that guy in, and you're going, how does your team not know this? Is there a baseball equivalent? Is there anything close to that you can parallel that to?
I can. So let me just say that the players not knowing the rules of overtime is completely irrelevant to me. They don't need to know the rules of overtime. The coaches need to know the rules, and the coaches need to implement the strategies. That's like me getting angry, which I used to, about players not knowing the signs. When we had a player who didn't know the signs, we would just have the first base coach go up. What do you think they're whispering about when the first base coach is talking to the guy in first? They're not talking about the weather. He's telling him, okay, hit and run. All right, steal. So there are players who just don't know, can't remember the signs. When you send out your captain for the coin toss in overtime, you send him out saying, okay, if we win, here's what we're doing. You say it clearly and carefully. And if you don't think that the guy who you send out can communicate that or remember that, send out 2 guys or send out a different guy. Now, the players are moronic in my mind for admitting they didn't know it because it makes the coach look bad. Why do that? But I wasn't upset with any of the Niners players. I was upset with Shanahan's decision. And when he doubled down saying, I wanted the 3rd possession, well, that's great, except there was no 3rd possession. And giving any team, but certainly the Kansas City Chiefs, giving them 4 downs to get 10 yards every time, knowing that punting, it's not even, when you're Andy Reid in overtime in the 2nd possession, punting, there's no punting. You have to get 10 yards, you have 4 downs to do it. It's just a dangerous game. And what I do think is going forward, nobody will ever do anything but defer if they win the toss in postseason overtime.
What's your favorite commercials?
I loved the NFL Africa commercial. I've got, of course, I love Africa when I climbed Kilimanjaro and went to Tanzania for all that period of time and Uganda. It's such an amazing country. And seeing the former Giant player and seeing the child believing that he could play and wanting to play NFL, that actually got to me. I love the Dove commercial that everyone hated about body positivity and the number of girls who stopped.
Wow, you were very, you were very emotional
Sappy.
Sunday.
Listen, I play this robotic character, and it's true in my personal life.
You were touchy-feely Sunday.
I need movies and commercials to make me feel. It's the most pathetic part of my existence.
Did you go watch a Hallmark movie at midnight? I mean,
this is me. Hi, I'm David. Have we met? That is me, except more like the 2 to 4 a.m. shift are all those rom-coms and all the crap that's rated 4.7 on IMDb. I'm watching every single one of them because I'm saying, oh, that's what a good relationship is, which, of course, is why I'm sitting here the way I'm sitting here.
How halftime work for you?
I was doing dishes and cleaning up and vacuuming. It's fine. I love it. It's pomp, it's circumstance. And I've been in clubs dancing to some of those songs. Roller skates, great. I'm not going to go buy a pair of roller skates. Alicia Keys, it's fun to see. And Usher, I love the spectacle is what I would say.
All right. Fair enough. Pitchers and catchers report. Bino Cook once said those are the 4 dirtiest words in the English language. But, okay, is this like a big week for you? Does this bring back memories?
Of course. Day 1 of pitchers and catchers is when I would always take my physical. So I associate the night before day 1 of not drinking or eating after midnight, going in and standing with the players as we go from station to station, getting your eyes checked, your teeth checked, getting the EKG, getting the guy with the finger if you're of a certain age.
All things. Righty then.
Oh, exactly. Using the whole fist.
Thank you, David. We needed that this morning.
Good. And he threw a Fletch reference in there right there. For those that didn't catch it, that was rock solid, David.
Thank you. And that's okay if you didn't catch it. That's just part of the fun of Nothing Personal and what we do here on Tuesday mornings. You leave the segment saying, wait, what was he saying? Who knows? So I associate it with physicals and then getting on the field. And my first speech of the year is to the pitchers and catchers. And then I do another one when the full team reports, and I try to make them a little different. And the best part about the first day of spring training is you feel like, wow, we're projected to lose 100 games, but we could win 100 games. You just never know what's going to happen in the baseball season. And then, of course, by the middle of the summer, you're despondent trading all your players away at the deadline. But today is a day when you've got a shot.
Is it the same? Because I'm guessing when you started in baseball, there were, jobs that were still earned in spring training. There aren't a whole lot of jobs earned in spring training anymore.
So we on the periphery, once in a while we would have a position player battle, as we would call it, but we didn't use spring training. Very few teams do. It's one of the great misnomers. Spring training is not really used to evaluate players. The evaluations come during the offseason when you're signing minor league free agents, when you're doing your invites to spring training. No one will remember this name. Abraham Nunez is a name I'll never forget. There's no way. Are you nodding, David? You know that name?
Yeah.
So he had a spring training, don't know what year. I think he hit like 69 home runs in spring training. And it was some ridiculous number. And we said, wow, all right, we're going to put him on the team. I don't think he hit maybe 2 home runs the whole season, or we released him or sent him down or something happened. And what we say to the players is, if you're on the roster, you're going to be on the 26, at that time, 25-man roster at some point this year. If you're in this room, you're going to help us at some point because of injuries, because of exhaustion, because of lack of performance by the people above you. So just take this seriously. Take the fundamental drills that we're doing seriously. Do the little things, work hard, and you'll be a part of this team. Once in a while, you're doing the bench. Who's going to be the last guy on the bench? You're doing roster manipulation with some of the older guys who you have to release by March 15th or actually have them as part of your team. So all sorts of things like that are happening. But it's not as though you're going in saying, oh, I wonder who my top 3 starters are. That's the funniest part. Sorry to keep going. The big announcement, this guy's starting opening day. We know that answer before the first workout. We've got the rotation, barring injury, and we line up where and how they're starting. It's all planned. The at-bats are planned, the lineups, the pitching, who's going in what order, absent injury, all of it is decided beforehand.
Very quickly, because we want to get to a couple other things. How big of a cash cow is spring training? Because when they talk about altering the baseball schedule, reducing games or fitting in Olympics maybe in 2028, all right. I mean, spring training in theory would have to be altered. Is this a huge cash cow, though?
No, not to any team. Not even to the team that makes the most money. I mean, at most, $1 million. At least some teams lose money at spring training. Now with new facilities that are paid for by the public, you can make a bit, but not anywhere near worth the injuries that happen and the length of it. It's too long.
Okay. Needless to say, your name came up last week when all the news in Vegas is about the A's and the mayor going, they should stay in Oakland. And all we thought of was David Samson going, don't believe everything you hear. They're never going to play in Vegas. So besides the fact that you took a few bows last week, where the hell are the A's going to end up playing?
So I'm not taking bows yet because I don't know what's happening. I just keep telling people all of these interim announcements are not final announcements. Even what happened in Tampa. Can we talk about Tampa? Stu Sternberg did a whole press conference announcing a deal. I haven't seen any deal yet. Have you? Are there any documents available? Is there a done agreement to do the new ballpark in St. Petersburg that I missed?
No, and they were supposed to put a shovel in the ground here like any day now, and we don't have a deal.
It's hard to put it. I mean, you can put a ceremonial shovel in the ground. That doesn't mean the price of the shovel, but you've got, again, to get a building open in March of 28, you have to start no later than March of 25. So there is time, but there's work to be done in both places. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know for sure you can't put a retractable roof building on 9 acres at the Tropicana. You can't. And by the way, people are saying, David, you're an idiot. They're tearing the Tropicana down. We saw the video and the piece of paper saying they're tearing it down just for the stadium. No, they were tearing it down because it was old, decrepit, and a declined asset, and they're putting up a brand new developed hotel to make more money. What Bally's is doing at the Trop site in Vegas has zero to do with baseball. Baseball's like a zit on Jolly Green Giant, so it has nothing to do with one another.
$20. You had to bet right now. Where are the A's going to end up? Is it going to be Salt Lake City?
Boy, they've got a shot. I would allocate my 20 among Salt Lake City. I'd allocate it among Oakland and Vegas. I'd probably say a third right now. But that you can't do 20 divided by 3. So I do $6 on Salt Lake City. I do $6 on Oakland, and I do $8 on Vegas.
Are we sure Oakland still wants the A's? I mean, they're
Yes.
really angry with each other.
No, there ain't. Yes, but it's okay. Half the Miami politicians wouldn't talk to me for 3 years, and then they were there opening day cutting ribbons. So I'm not worried about that at all, and nor should you be, because I'm sure you sit around worried all day about Oakland.
I'm very worried about the A's. He's David Samson. He's also very worried about the A's. Host of the award-winning Nothing Personal with David Samson. All right. He does it live weekdays at 8 a.m. If you miss it live, well, then download it and you know where to get it. It's also part of the CBS Sports family. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at David, the letter P. Samson, David P. Samson. All the best, my friend. We'll talk next week.
Looking forward to it. Have a great day. Bye.
David Samson with the very descriptive Fletch reference during the show.
Moon River.
Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. We need a poll question.
Well, I missed most of the last segment because I was in the bathroom, but were you guys talking about the A's? Is that what you mostly talked about?
A little bit.
No, just at the very end.
Oh,
We talked to Super
Super Bowl
Bowl and pitchers and catchers reporting. Are you okay?
yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a little slow moving this morning. That's all. But
Oh.
because I was going to say, where do you want to see the A's playing?
That's not.
No
No
one
one cares.
Which team gets back to the Super Bowl first? San Francisco or Kansas City?
Sure.
Just a thought.
What would be the hardest thing for you to give up for 40 days? We could use that for tomorrow too.
What are your plans for Fat Tuesday?
Every day is Fat Tuesday. Nah, it's a Catholic thing, right? Does anybody else celebrate Fat Tuesday?
Yeah, everybody in New Orleans.
New Orleans, right. So you either have to be Catholic or in New Orleans.
Is it just Catholic? Did the rest of Christianity doesn't do
I
Lent?
don't know.
Does your wife not give up something for Lent?
No, she does.
Okay,
I just don't think she does the Fat Tuesday thing. That's all.
Gotcha.
No, the Lent thing. Oh no, that's a biggie. I've never partaken in that.
I'm going to try to give up snacking.
Why?
Because I'm fat, David.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were doing it for the cause. And I'm just like, really, why? I'm just trying to counterbalance your wife. That's all. I feel like that's my role in your life. I counterbalance your wife. I'm the dark side. That's my role in your life. All right, we need a poll question. Trent, do you have a play of the day?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, how did our poll questions end up yesterday?
I don't know. Let me look.
Ba-ba-bum. Is today the?
Sorry.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us coming up 40 minutes from now. Trent Bally and the play of the day coming up in a handful of minutes. I have no idea what the heck he's going to choose from yesterday. It was a really slow sports day.
I had to scrape a little bit. I'm not going to lie, but hopefully we pass the test.
A lot of NBA, some NHL, and very little college hoop. There's full slate of NBA games last night.
Yeah, but I don't know how many of them were marquee matchups. I mean, Philly without Embiid, even though they won. I mean, were you excited about Philadelphia going into Cleveland with no Embiid? I wasn't, even though they won.
No, you had the Bucks in Denver, and you had the T-Wolves and the Clips.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't fired up. You only had 4 hockey games. I mean, I have to admit, if I'm running a league, I'm ganging up the day after the Super Bowl. You got a bunch of people that are, feeling like, well, what's out there? I want to give you, Mark, instead of Fat Tuesday, if I was running a league, I'd want it to be Fat Monday. I wanted people, gorging again on Monday. They still got leftovers from the Super Bowl. I don't want them thinking, oh, now I got to begin to shape up. because I know you started for like an hour and a half after the first of the year, and I'm not just talking to you, Mark. I'm talking to everybody. I know you did, and then the NFL playoffs and the college football playoffs, and so you just kept eating, and then you said, "I'll start after the Super Bowl." Okay, well, what does Burger King and McDonald's and all of them do? This is when they gang up and they offer you the specials. 7 sandwiches for $6. Then you go, well, I'll put off the shape up till for a little while longer. Next thing you know, it's football season again. Trust me. I know how this works.
You can justify anything there, can't you?
This is my territory here. You're on my turf. We're talking eating year round. Okay, this is how it works.
I do think of you whenever I see a fast food / pizza commercial. Because some of these deals at Pizza Hut look good. I don't eat chain food.
I know you don't.
I try not to.
Yep, I know.
Try to support the local pizza place. I try to support the local restaurants. I've always done that. So I try as best I can to avoid chain restaurants.
Yep.
But specifically fast food chains and the little pizza guy. The pizza chains. That I just don't do. But I see some of those Pizza Hut things, and I've got to be honest, they look all right.
Well, listen, I had a very emotional moment late yesterday afternoon. I hope I can share. Part of the reason that I live in Jacksonville now is this is where my daughter lives, and this is where my granddaughter lives.
That's the important part. I mean, the daughter.
Well, no. The granddaughter is my wife.
Right.
Okay, yeah, she's all in on the granddaughter. I had to warm up to being a grandpa. Okay, she was all in before she officially became a grandma. I had to warm up to it.
What are you, by the way?
Grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
nothing fun, nothing zesty.
No, there's no
pop.
There's no Gramps. There's no Papa. I'm Grandpa. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Whatever you go with. Her name's Oakland. And and there's no connection at all in the family to the city. None. Okay. Daughter and son-in-law chose it because they like the sound of the name. I looked right at him and said, "What, was Schenectady not available?" So I'm
glad you come with the jokes there because I feel as if I can't.
Oh, no.
I'm very fond of your daughter. She is a lovely young lady. She has done very well for herself so far in her life. She's obviously going to be a good mom. She's a good person. So I can't take shots at your granddaughter's name. I allow you to do all of that yourself.
Totally. No, I look right at her and call her Thono Tosasa. Oh, no. Honestly, you come up with names. I just look right at her and call her. Now the problem is she's old enough, she starts remembering them and she spits them back at you. Okay, so it was much more fun the first 12 to 18 months of her life. Now she's 2 years old. She's too smart. It's a bummer. You can't, somebody said a word they weren't supposed to say the other day. She repeated it for the first time. It's like, oh, no.
Who was responsible for the word?
It was me. It was me. It was not an expletive either. I just said suck. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but she repeated it. And of course, everybody looked at me like, you are the one that sucks. Okay. Right. So, okay. All right. So
when my daughter says someone said the S word, I start listing all the S words off that I know.
Exactly.
Which one did she say? This one? Exactly. Dad? Was it that one?
So number 4 or number 6? Which was it here? So anyway, very emotional moment because there's 3 days a week where we pick her up from daycare. And this way we get some time with her. And the parents eventually after work, they come over, they pick her up, they take her home. And so yesterday was one of those days. And so then we have to do food. Well, and the mom is into healthy. She was
raised in your household.
I know, but we sent her place. I'm telling you, she's healthy.
No, I know.
Okay. I tried. Listen, I fed her McDonald's and Subway for 15 years. I did all I could. okay, to break her of this. But, apparently the other forces at work in society, they won. So they're very health conscious. Okay. And so, of course, our house, I mean, even with all the money on the new kitchen, I mean, we don't cook and we don't want to. And so yesterday, our 2-year-old ate an entire slice of pizza. And I have to admit, I got emotional.
Did you tell the parents?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you get in trouble?
How much trouble can we get in?
None. You're the grandparents. There are
Thank
no,
you. Thank you.
As my mother will look at my daughter and say, Maddie, what are the rules at Grammy's house? And Maddie looks right back at Grammy with a big smile and says, there are no rules at Grammy's house.
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm.
There are rules in this show, however, and one of them is that we give you a play of the day. No matter how little sports were going on last night, we find one for you, and that is Trent Valley's job with our Molly Maid play of the day.
We go north of the border. Usually it's for hockey, but this is for a little basketball. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The Spurs are taking on the Raptors. This Victor Wembanyama guy is pretty good, but it has taken a while to translate to some wins for San Antonio. But last night the Spurs were rolling. Wemby's got the block party going, so he ends up on triple-double watch, just under 7 minutes to play in the game, but not in the traditional sense.
Grady Dick feeling Victor Wembanyama. Airball the layup, and then Victor gets the 10th block right there. The triple-double in blocks for Victor Wembanyama.
Wemby blocks Grady Dick's second chance effort for block number 10. Finishes with 27 points, 14 boards, 10 blocks. He also had 5 assists. So talk about stuff in the stat sheet. Spurs win it 122-99, only their 11th win of the season, but pretty fair performance from the number 1 overall pick. And there's your play of the day presented by Molly Maid.
Call Molly Maid today, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839, and give your spouse the gift of a clean house.
And the Spurs with their 11th win, aren't there still 3 teams who have fewer wins than the Spurs? I mean, the very bottom of the NBA is horrendous.
Yeah, the Wizards are one of those teams. There's another team that I can't think of. I can't seem to place my finger on it.
Right. We'll do it for you. It's Detroit and Charlotte, right?
Charlotte's got 12 wins.
Oh, man.
They're on a heater.
They've been on a heater. They've won 2 in a row, David.
Unbelievable.
After trading P.J. Washington.
Yeah, well. Well.
How's the world
I know
even surviving that? I don't know how we didn't fall off our axis.
Don't know how Mitch Kupchak would resign now. I mean, they're about to be a 20-win franchise. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan in a half an hour here on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So, can I tell you about the worst grocery store experience I've ever had in my life yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
So, I went to Publix in a really good mood. Michael, David Samson came out at the top of the hour. He comes on at 7 o'clock every Tuesdays. And so I'm at the deli counter, and they're serving everybody who wants sandwiches. They're not interested in those of us who have lunch meat. Okay. I noticed a woman was standing in the wrong line. So then she eventually makes her way over to me. Finally, somebody comes over to wait on me, and I go, no, she was first. Okay. And she appreciated that. And so I got my cart there, and I've been standing there like over 5 minutes. This guy is walking towards me. All right. And he then comes and he stands next to me. So he's going to be the third one in line.
Okay.
While they're waiting on her, I walk 12 feet away and grab a thing of soup and come over and put it in my cart. Okay. When they get done waiting on her, they say next, and the guy starts talking. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I've been standing here. He goes, no, you walked away. and now I got a little loud. I said, are you serious? I go, I went and got a soup, okay, right there, okay, while they were waiting on her. And so you think now I'm out of line, okay? And he goes, yeah, okay. And the lady then goes, who am I waiting on? And I go, you're waiting on the asshole first. Take care of the asshole. And everybody can hear me, okay? And so he says a few things to me. And, I said, well, I called him an asshole. I got to take it back. Okay. I just waited till he was done. Okay. He turns around and he says, loudly enough for everybody to hear, because, and there, at this point, a woman with a young child, she wasn't there when I cursed. Okay. But now she's right there and we can all see her. He turns around and he starts cursing at me. And I look at him and I go, hey, buddy, there's a young child right there. Okay. Enough. Okay. And he says, well, then you have a blankety blank nice day. And I said, I hope you die by Friday. So then I finish the rest of my shopping. I get in line and they go, paper, plastic, what have you. And I go, put everything in plastic. Now I get jugs of water. Okay. And they hate putting every jug of water in its own plastic bag. They get it. And so I explained to them, I go, listen, I live on the third floor carrying the groceries. It's much easier to carry them when they're in bags. I go, I know you hate doing it. Could you please put everything in plastic? The guy doing the bag and does not want to do it. He keeps taking the jugs and putting them in my cart, not in a plastic bag. Okay. Twice I say, hey, listen, no, everything in plastic, if you can, makes it a lot easier for me carrying them and what have you. So he put one in the plastic bag and he wouldn't put the other. I got 6 jugs of water. He won't put the second thing in a plastic bag. I go, no, I'm sorry. Maybe all of them, if you can. Okay. I know. The third jug he takes, he puts it in my face and he shakes like this. Okay.
The worker?
The worker. I grab the jug out of his hand. He gets stunned. And I go, what's your problem? Okay. And I then box him out like Oakley on the boards and say, I'll bag my groceries. Get out of here. Okay. And I bag my groceries, put them in the cart, and the manager comes over, and the manager's like, is there a problem? I go, yeah, he won't put my groceries in a plastic bag. He's lazy. He doesn't want to do it. And so after the third time he wouldn't do it, I figured I'd do it myself. I go, by the way, I would just like to tell you, I've been coming to Publix for 25 years. I've just had the worst experience. Yeah, I know.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Pat Kirwan, he got back from Vegas. It wasn't easy getting out of there. Game went an hour long. He was on a red eye. Traffic was a mess. But he got out of town. And he got back to his home computer and his equipment, and he was able to do his radio show yesterday. And so he'll join us coming up in about 20 minutes.
If you're not taking this show in occasionally on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, you're missing out. I'm just saying. I'm not going to get into what we talked about that last break because it's not necessary. But it was an all-timer.
It was.
It was an all-timer.
It was. Sometimes there's stuff that can only be told off air. All right. But, went grocery shopping yesterday. And if you've listened to Miller and Moulton over the years, grocery shopping can be eventful.
Right. Can be a full contact sport sometimes.
It can be. It can be. There's etiquette. Okay. Well, here you go. We don't have to get into my specifics, but just a question. So you're waiting in line and someone's ahead of you, but then they step out of line to go 15 feet away and grab something, and then they come back in line and they put it in their grocery.
Where are we? If this is specific to what you were talking about is at the deli. And David, this is all should have been handled very easily because if everybody would have had a damn number like they're supposed to, we wouldn't have these problems.
Well, thank you.
Don't get into where. See, now you've entered into my turf, David, and nothing bothers me more that my particular grocery store that I go to, sometimes it's always busy at the deli. Sometimes the staff goes by the numbers. Sometimes they just look up and want you to use your honor and say, who's next? I don't like that.
Well, there's
a lot going on there.
In Florida, I have to admit, I don't know if I've ever been at a deli in which the electric sign behind them had the right number of who it was they were serving. I mean, they're always like 30 off. It's not something that gets updated regularly.
And that's on the grocery store. Because if we just simply use the numbers, we'd have decency and etiquette at the deli counter.
Because it literally said now serving number 61. I had number 94 in my hand.
There's a very popular Italian market right by where you used to live in Fort Myers. And they do, they've got the whole gambit. It's the meat market, it's the deli, and they've got pre-made food, they make sandwiches, the whole thing. You walk in and you get a number. If you stand there without a number, you'll be there for 3 years.
Oh, that's how it should be. Okay. And that's a full combat place, by the way. I mean, when you walk in.
Oh, you can get run over by a little Italian grandmother. She'll take you down with her cart, not think twice about it.
Absolutely. Gut you with a pepperoni stick while ordering her, her veal. Absolutely.
You've got that right.
Yep. So anyway, and I was nice. I let someone in front of me who she was standing in the wrong line, but she was standing in line when I was approaching the deli. She was standing over by where they make the subs. She didn't want a sub. She wanted some meat. So when she ventured over, I was already there. When they finally got around to waiting on us, because, they took care of the people who wanted their sandwiches. I'm fine with that. I can wait for my pound or whatever. I'm good. I got nowhere to be. I mean, what do I have, friends, a life? No, I'm good. So I said, no, she was here first. Okay. And so then, a guy pulls up next to me. So it's going to be me, then it's going to be him. And then I went over, though, because I got a list of a few things, and one of them was the soup. And the soup's literally 12 feet away.
Right.
And I go, well, I've been standing here for 5 minutes. I might as well get the soup. All right. So I go over, grab the soup, come back, put it in the thing. They get done waiting on her, and the lady behind the counter goes next, and he steps in front of me and starts talking. Whoa, wait, whoa, come on now. Come on now. And I go, wait a minute.
Once again, if we had the numbers, no problem.
And I'm the only one with this stupid thing. I'm the only one that took a number.
Oh, I'd have been waving it. It would have. Oh.
So anyway, so the guy cut in front of me, and he wouldn't,
wouldn't budge.
He literally said, "You got out of line. You lost your spot." And I, of course, said, "You're really that guy?" I said, "Seriously?" I go, "I saw you. You saw me. I went and got a soup, came back next to me. We were talking to one another." I go, So then, I don't want to tell the rest of the story.
It's fine.
It doesn't make me look good. But anyway, so that's what happened at the grocery store yesterday. That guy was that guy. That if you, because
and you let him know.
Well, yes. Come on now, really, with all that we've got going on in society now, really, come on. If you're going to be how are we going to get through this world if that's how you're going to act? Come on. Okay. And also it bothered me because I was really being nice because I let the lady in.
Your niceness, instead of it carrying on and more nice things happening, your niceness was responded with a little bit of an a-hole moment by someone else.
He said, you can't leave your cart. Once you leave your cart, you're out of line. Okay. All right. Maybe I felt like this was an unwritten rule in baseball. Okay, I really did. Kind of like the hockey brawl the other day, where Ottawa and Toronto, and the guy, it's going to be an empty net goal. Ottawa's going to win, and the guy, 8 feet from the Maple Leafs net, whines and fires it 90 miles an hour into the net. I mean, who cares if he fires it 90 miles an hour or he flips it in? Okay. Oh my goodness.
Well, funny you bring it up because I watched it for about the fourth time yesterday. I was talking to my son, and he said, watch it again. And watch Matthews and Marner. And how when the brawl starts, they want nothing to do with it.
Right.
And why this team always loses in the playoffs. One of their players comes in. If you didn't see it, like David said, the goal was scored. Toronto player runs the Ottawa player after.
Right. The big defenseman for Toronto is really upset. Okay. Feels shown up. And so he cheap shots.
It was showing him up a little bit. He was showing up. I'm stunned something happened in today's game. Right. He was showing up Toronto. The guy cranks up a slap shot and open net from 3 feet away. It was showing them up. It was a boss move. You got to know something's coming. He gets drilled.
Cheap shot, though. He hit
it was total cheap shot.
Yeah, hits him from behind in the head, and then the guy falls into the boards. Actually hits his head on where the boards and the glass meet, kind of like the top of the dasher there. It was, he's going to get suspended at least 6 games, by the way. And that
at least 6.
There are meetings today in New York. It's a face-to-face meeting. When it's a face-to-face meeting and it's not done via paperwork, it's like a minimum 6.
Yeah.
So they're going to miss him for 2 weeks, and he's one of their best defensemen. But anyway, and you're right. Okay, the Mariners and what have you, they wanted nothing to do with it. Tavares got in and mixed it up, though. He has no problem mixing it up.
But, and because I'm a Wings fan, watched him play Vancouver. Game was chippy. The Wings skilled guys were involved in all the chippiness, leading the way. You have to be, Austin Matthews is 6'2", 220 pounds. He can grab a guy and throw him around once. There's 3 seconds left in the game. You're down by 2. The game's over. You're not scoring 2 goals to win this thing. At some point, stick up for your teammates and participate. That's all.
So that's what I felt like. I felt like, wow, this is the end of the Toronto-Ottawa game.
And you got cheap shotted and no one was there to help you.
Well, I did. I felt, I felt like I won the verbal battle, though. I mean, I don't lose many of those. I don't. I thought I won the verbal battle.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Because I removed myself, because the lady behind the counter, she's like, okay, which one of you two yahoos am I going to wait on? And so then I said, oh, no, now you're going to wait on him. But I defined who he now was, publicly declared for everyone. Okay, you're going to wait on him. He now has a new name.
Right. And you may have gotten a 2 for unsportsmanlike, but he got the 10.
Okay. But then I came over the top at the end too. I got a 10. I got a match penalty. I'm going to be suspended by the league, the whole deal. I mean, I made sure, oh, no, fine. You're going to get your meat a minute and a half before me. You are going to be told where you rank in society, okay, while you're waiting to get your meat. Yes. That's what
I'm
get
sure
out of
that
it.
guy had 12 items, went right to the 10 and under too from there.
I don't know, but I have to admit, I was desperately hoping we were going to be in line together at checkout. I was. Okay. Mark, this is one of those hockey situations where we fought, and there was a chance, like if I ran into him like in aisle 6, that we'd drop the gloves again. I do love it when they fight twice.
Oh, absolutely.
Those are just great.
They don't happen anymore.
No, it's tough to get them to fight once. But, yeah. So, there you have it.
There's our Publix incident of the day.
Then it had the guy at the checkout, doesn't want to bag up all my goods.
You had a rough grocery day.
I did. I really did.
Did you get some comfort food on the way home? Was it bad enough that you had to hit a drive-through to make yourself feel better on the way home?
I went immediately afterwards and bought the pizzas. Yep. Said, well, I'd take care of this. Bought 2 of them. Bought one for me and one for the rest of the family. Yep. I didn't even wait for Fat Tuesday. Nope. As far as I'm concerned, every day's Fat Tuesday.
As well it should be. 21,000 is the text line. In case you want to chime in on anything that was said by David Samson or us earlier in the show, Pat Kirwan coming up in 11 minutes' time.
Are we going to do a poll question today? If so, here's my nomination. Who makes the Super Bowl first, Kansas City or San Francisco? I mean, think about it. How many teams make the Super Bowl 3 years in a row? And how long do we think this run? Because the Chiefs are young at a lot of places. Kelsey, obviously not. Key spots on the offensive line, they're not. They're young just about everywhere else, except for Chris Jones, who also is an unrestricted free agent. And they've got their own cap issues.
And Chris Jones could have very well been the MVP of the Super Bowl with the plays he made. I know in today's world he's not going to be, and I get it, and I'm not even arguing for it. But he made 3 or 4 plays. He made 3 plays that stopped touchdowns.
Well, certainly at the end there. I mean, well, now it does help if you don't block him. I got to admit. I mean, it's nice when you let Chris Jones run free on the biggest 3rd down of the season. That helped. I will say Spags, and now they've got all the the zero coverages and the pressures and what have you. They got them all charted out. No team showed the Niners less respect and went after Purdy to the extent that the Chiefs did. I mean, no team played a man more than the Chiefs did. Wink Martindale and the Giants were the closest, if you take a look at the coverages and the pressures and what have you. But, okay, basically Spags said to the Niners, and this is where, this is one of the beefs I have with Romo. He doesn't talk about the defensive side of the ball at all. Okay, he talked about it one time in which it was a 3rd down in which he said, if you're San Francisco, you have to anticipate a blitz here. And sure enough, they blitzed. Okay. But, Spags blitzed more than any team had blitzed the Niners all year, and no team played the Niners man more than Kansas City did. So, Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, they saw man the overwhelming majority of the game. And the Chiefs guys beat them. more often
And
than not.
what's interesting, David, because we talked about it leading up to the game, that they were soft with the slot where
Right.
Debo was playing.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco knew that. They targeted him 11 times. He had 3 catches.
For 33 yards. Yep.
Kittle, who we thought could be effective, was hardly targeted at all in the game.
So, just if we were to ask that question, which team gets back to the Super Bowl first? Chiefs or Niners? Niners road's easier. It's the NFC. Most of this team will come back next year. Don't know about the year after, but they'll find a way to bring most of it back next year. Chiefs, tougher road. And can they make 3 Super Bowls in a row? That's tough to do. So I'm just curious if we pose that as a poll question.
I like it.
All right. Pat Kirwan. We'll look back at Super Bowl 58, maybe even look ahead with Pat next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection. And this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500 and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000 and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning, boys.
Morning, Pat.
How are you?
Good. Welcome back to Southwest Florida.
Get a good night's sleep last night?
No.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I got all 3 of my brothers here, so they could care less if I was tired. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. I had to connect through Washington, D.C. yesterday. I had the red eye. I got in at 6 a.m. The fog was so thick, they had to circle the airport for an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I love the pilot. Yep. I missed that one. We got to go back around. I must have said that twice, 3 times. Old ladies were scared. The game was everything we hoped it would be. Nobody was happier than CBS.
No, goodness.
Oh,
A whole fifth quarter of football. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. Tony Toronto, who does the advertising, is, let me take care of my favorite guys right here. Instead of dropping. Oh, the charge was ridiculous. I think it was $7 million for 30, but then it went up, I think, in overtime. Oh, yeah.
Did and we'll probably ask you this question on air, but did everything during a Super Bowl week for the NFL go well in Vegas? Like, are they like, oh yeah, we're going to make this part of the rotation now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be right in the cycle, and it was really quite well done, and they can handle everything there, as you know. So the stadium's phenomenal.
It is.
It is, and I would think. No one really came and we had cars and all that business, but most people just were walking from hotels, and they found themselves thinking they would get a cab after the game, and they couldn't, so they just started walking back to Bellagio, wherever they were. So it was quite interesting to watch. It was just mass walking. Nice. So, yeah, I don't know if I could almost make the point that I think they might be the best city to have it in.
Yeah, probably for the NFL's liking, the only downside is the stadium is awesome and it's intimate. It's probably a little too small. They wish they could sell more seats.
Yeah, they got it to 72,000. So
I think it was only 62.
No, it's a 65,000 seat. Believe me, I had to hear this shit all day. They pushed it to 72. Yeah. Believe me, CBS wanted us to say it 1,000 times. I think 62, they don't qualify.
Well, I mean, I'm reading 61,629.
Yeah, I read a story that said it was actually the least number of fans ever at a Super Bowl outside of the pandemic.
They had us read 65, went to 72. I'm tired of talking about it. I can make it 71.8 if you want, but it'll be back on the side. I would say once every 4 years.
Yeah, we think like the British Open rotation. St. Andrews gets an Open every 5 years. We figure SoFi and Vegas are going to be the 2 of the 4 or 5 rotation.
Yeah, so what gets left out? All these experimental cold weather, they'll be done. New Orleans might have to walk a little bit.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's that time again where Pat Kirwan joins us. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains. He was just in Vegas all week and weekend working the Super Bowl with the good folks at CBS. Pat joins us once again courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and all points in between. Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. So how tired of you? I mean, you got to be tired of talking, aren't you?
Yeah, I did 60 interviews. I told you guys on Friday. We wrapped it up with 12 on Friday to get to 60. Yeah, my voice is a little shot, but that's part of it. You know, I hear guys tell me all the time how they lose their voice. I don't, so I don't want to jinx myself here. But yeah, it was a productive week for me, and it was really. I've been on the road for a couple of weeks. I'm not going to be home long before we're at the combine. So the events keep on rolling, David. They have figured out the 365 calendar.
Boy, have they ever.
Yeah.
They've really got it down. Obviously, free agents, combine, draft, all those things ahead, but we're looking back now at the Super Bowl. And Pat, just, your overall thoughts of the game itself.
Well, It depends on who you're with. Like I'm with Cower at halftime. He thought this was a classic. He loved it. He loved the battle of defense. He loved the battle of, turnovers and all the things that were going on. So he sees football through a defensive lens, and it was exciting to him, and me too. And then the second half, it exploded, and we all saw what Mahomes did, over 200 yards passing. And Bill said it at halftime, and I'm with him. They're not going to win unless Mahomes runs, because he tried to run a little bit in the first quarter, and they were tackling him and sacking him, and but they're just a force to be reckoned with. And I remember saying to Mark the other day, I'd love to take San Francisco, but I just can't bet against Mahomes. Most of us say those things, and he proved it once again. So to me, he is in the conversation with Brady now. He's not there yet, but he's on his way towards Brady, and he might end up being the best that ever played. He's that good.
Well, for what it's worth, he was asked that after the game, and he said, I think it's going to be difficult for me to ever be regarded as better than him. First off, he's at 7, and secondly, he beat us in a Super Bowl. So Mahomes even said, if you guys are into this sort of thing, I think it may be difficult for me to ever pass him. But Pat, we did have the hypothetical discussion last week. If you were drafting today to assemble a team and you could draft any player in the history of the league, okay, with the way the game is played now, okay, would you in fact draft him first overall?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't think twice about it. His mobility, his accuracy, but mostly his tenacity. Like, the bigger the moment, the bigger the guy. The guy embraces the most. He was down 10 points in all 3 Super Bowl wins. You guys have talked about these stats all day yesterday. It's never easy. It's always hard, and he always delivers. Now, the first half, because Donovan Smith looked like he didn't belong on the football field, was starting to look like the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, the Brady game.
Yep.
And they adjusted some things and got the ball out of his hand a lot faster. And basically, they survived with Donovan. So I think some of the greatest quarterbacks have been able to hide bad linemen. Manning did it all the time. And Brady's done plenty of it. Not as much as Manning. Manning played sometimes with the worst tackles. But this guy can handle bad linemen, which is ridiculously important in a world like this. So they'll fix those things up. But I heard you guys talking a little bit. I'll just say this. I will use the dynasty word because they got the cap space to have a dynasty. They got almost $23 million in cap space, and they can go right to the Mahomes deal, change that $35 million roster bonus into a signing bonus, and have $50 million in cap space for this year. And then they can do it again next year. So they have the ability to keep hitting the bank of Mahomes to get all the space they need. So they'll get the money if they want to. I'm sure they want to re-sign L'Jarius Sneed, and I know they want to sign Chris Jones. And they can bring those guys back if they want to. Now, Sneed, I know they want to. Jones will be what the market's all about. But I at his age, I'm starting to think about just tag him. But no, I think they'll do it. But they can. This is the beauty. That contract that they did with Mahomes is total genius, and nobody else will do it. So they never get any competitors to build Super Bowl teams and then be able to reload if they want to. They figured the whole thing out, and no one else has done that.
Where, in your estimation, did San Francisco go wrong? I mean, there are a lot of different things you can point at, and they made some mistakes, but is there the third quarter not running the ball, just the goofy punt? Where do you point your finger at where San Francisco made their biggest mistake, Pat?
The 3 runs and 11 passes in the third quarter, and we were all waiting for them to run more, and they didn't want to, and that's a trait of Kyle. He's done that before. So that'll be on the list of things. The special team issues, I mean, you hit a guy in the heel, his Achilles heel with the ball. I mean, that happens, but that led to it the only touchdown they got in regulation being Kansas City. So special teams, the blocked extra point, I mean, seriously, if they don't block that extra point, did all this happen? So I put that on the list too. The blocked extra point, the punt problem that led to a 1-play touchdown drive, But I'll tell you what I would never put on the list. I would never put on the list that Kyle Shanahan decided to take the ball in overtime. And I get 1,000 calls yesterday. Oh, he should be fired for that. Think about it. There were no touchdown drives by Kansas City in regulation except the one-play touchdown off the punt. They forced, I think, 5 punts in the game. And they're forcing Kansas City to settle for field goals. The last 2 drives, 12 and 11 plays each, field goals. So if you're those guys and you throw away the punt problem, you guys start thinking we're holding them to field goals. So I'll take the ball first with the chance to go third.
How, if you're John Lynch now and you're San Francisco, I mean, listen, Purdy's good. Okay. And the words coming out that Spags and some of the Chiefs coaches even are like, listen, he's better than you all think he is. That the reason we played all the man coverage that we played was because when we went zone, he was tearing us up. Okay. So, he's better than you guys think he is. But if you're San Francisco, Pat, you just played a Super Bowl where essentially your defense did not give up a touchdown in regulation. I mean, the one touchdown you referenced, that was because of the muffed punt. All right. The first 9 Chiefs possessions were 5 punts, 2 turnovers, 2 field goals.
Right.
And you couldn't win the game. I mean, the Chiefs are doing it with the superstar legendary quarterback. Lately, we've had the big time top 8 in the league quarterback who's winning the Super Bowl. San Francisco's tried to do it the other way. Is their approach wrong?
No. In my opinion, watching this, standing on the field most of the game, all I kept seeing is San Francisco receivers that could not separate. Kittle has the toe. He looked like he couldn't do it. He just wanted to play. But the other guys, Debo and Ayuk, especially Debo, they couldn't separate. So the blueprint is out there to play the 49ers now. But not a lot of teams have the talent to go man and blitz. But you better get some receivers that know how to separate. And those guys, they didn't separate. They didn't even, and I thought McDuffie's play on the long pass down by the end, that was awesome by him. But what was he? He was right on the hip of the receiver to make the play. The more I watched the game, and I really started to hone in on, and I talked to Spags afterwards, so I get some insight. I know him very well, but the first down defense, they just ran 4-man rush all the time against San Francisco, and then were able to combo guys if they wanted to. Then when they got the 3rd and long, they played spy a lot. They had a 3-man rush in the second half with a double spy. And when Brock Purdy had no one was open, so he had to take off, the double spy got him. So they complicated things. And then, of course, they always have their slot blitz package. So I looked at it and said, this is what everyone has to do to beat San Francisco, but no one has these guys. And they probably don't have a guy with the guts of Spags because he just keeps calling it. Think of what he's done. He won 4 games to get this Super Bowl, and he beat 4 of the top 6 offenses in scoring points. There was a hard road to get here, and he beat them all. And he can play zone, by the way. And when he does, it looks like everyone else's zone. And Purdy, to me, is a very good player. I would be looking to lock that guy up for 15 years. He's extremely accurate, but I'd be out getting a receiver or 2 that can separate. You look at Debo, he's a running back running routes.
How important is it for San Francisco to get a friendly deal with Purdy?
Very important.
Will they?
I think he wants to stay there. He's a very interesting guy. I spent some time with him on Monday. He's really just a down-to-earth, guided by his father's principles. I don't think he really wants to run off to the Vikings and all the other places people think they're going to go after him. I think they're going to deal with him. They got their situation is almost the opposite in the way of how their cap looks. They have $1 million of cap space. Everyone's panicking. I wouldn't be. They have a bunch of guys with huge paragraph 5s, and they can convert those to signing bonuses. When they want to go make space, they can do that. Now, the question is, and I'm not down on Debo, but Debo to me he's a 3. He's not a 1. You tell me who the number one receiver is. Is he a one where you already said it, David. I heard you say it before. A number one in the NFL is a guy that you have to double cover. Right. They don't have to double cover anybody there.
Well, now I will say nobody looks like a one going up against those two Chiefs corners. That might be the best cornerback tandem in the league.
It might be. It is the best because he can play every coverage he wants to play, and a lot of guys can't do it. But so when you go into the draft, maybe that's what you should be thinking about every team across the board. Get enough corners that you can play man.
It's funny. Niners might be drafted. Okay, the Chiefs might be drafted a receiver. Okay, the Niners may beat him to it one spot ahead of them. He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains. It's 3 to 7 weekdays, and he works 7 days a week because weekends he's in New York working with CBS and the NFL Today show. He was just in Vegas all week after being in Mobile for the Senior Bowl all week. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. We'll look ahead for the Niners and the Chiefs. We'll also look ahead between now and NFL free agency. Pat Kirwan, more with him on the other side. Our poll question: which one of these two teams is going to get back to the Super Bowl first, Chiefs or Niners? Vote accordingly. Thanks for listening.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6. And live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I heard you talking about hockey fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little prove it moment in the Toronto game the other night. Guy took an empty net goal, took a slap shot from basically the slot into an empty net, and the Toronto player took offense and just cheap shotted him.
He'll be writing a check for that, won't he?
He'll get six games for sure.
Well, today is turn the page day. On to the prep for the combine. So I got the Senior Bowl behind me to help. You got me spending an extra day out. Usually I go there for 3 days, and I'm going for 5 this year.
You're all week at the combine?
The Tuesday morning they have me flying in, and I'm getting out Saturday at dinner time.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm real excited about it. Can you tell?
Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice.
I told him, I said, you're going to have to get me out of there at 2:00 because there's a hockey game on Saturday night and I'm not missing it. So hopefully they change. I'll change the flight myself.
Do they fly you on that, whatever that direct Indianapolis, your Sun Country or whatever the hell it is that flies direct?
Yeah. Well, Southwest flies direct too.
Do they? Okay.
One a day. And oh man. Did you? I don't know if you were listening to the show when James told on air, "I got this, Drew. Relax." I said to James on the break, I said, "You would have never said that if you didn't get that 2-year extension."
That's funny.
He just said, "Yeah, true."
I will say Dan's putting a nice staff together in Washington.
Yep. A lot of guys like to work for Dan.
Yeah, I could see where you would.
He's a good guy. He listens. Decent human being. Yeah. We'll see if they can, how long it takes to turn that thing around.
Well, I have to admit, the division, I think, is, Philly's a very interesting situation. So's Dallas, and the Giants are a mess. So, they're not going to do anything in 2024, but I don't know what that division is going to look like in 2025, Pat.
I'm with you. No. Howie's shine is rubbing off now, don't you think?
Well,
he'll blame the coach and fire him.
Well, of course. And so will the owner, because he did it to the last coach and he won him a Super Bowl. So,
yep.
I have to admit, I love the Zimmer hire in Dallas because I think they need that from the top of the organization all the way down. They need to stop having people blow smoke up their ass, and they need to be told, you guys haven't accomplished a blankety blank thing yet.
Well, Mike is the perfect Mr. Grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
He's angry all the time.
Which will probably make the head coach go back to his old personality when he was Mr. Grumpy. But quite frankly, I think that's what that team needs.
They need that, but they need, more importantly, Jerry to not show up every day.
Well, exactly. They need Jerry to actually be angry.
And that's not going to happen. What are you thinking, Mark? I saw you getting ready to say
something. Andy Reid's not Mr. Grumpy. I don't know if you need to have blankety blanks in there in order for you to win. I think what Pat said is, you might be right, David. I just don't know. It's
a different mindset in Kansas City. They got players that love Andy, that respond to Spags. The group in Dallas, they're distracted by being Cowboys.
Here we go.
They think they're entitled. Looking about Mahomes, he does not feel entitled.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, who just got back from a week in Vegas after a week in Mobile, Senior Bowl, Super Bowl for Pat over the last couple of weeks. And before that, he was on the road with the AFC Championship game. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. All right, we think Vegas is going to join LA and SoFi as like two of the five that are going to be in the permanent Super Bowl rotation. How did the city hold up?
City was great. They're used to big events. I talked to the mayor a couple of times. She embraces the bigger the better for her. And while all this was going on, she had the time to tell the Oakland A's, why don't you just stay in Oakland? She was like working it both ways. They didn't like the site she had, and they had planned for the baseball team. So she can play offense, that one. She once said to me on air, yeah, the Raiders are coming. This is before they were there. But we really like the Chargers. We'd like to see them. And they know the owners because the owners live in Vegas. So she'll say anything, but she's got a machine that works for things called the Super Bowl. They said the influx of people into the city was in the 300,000 range. And you can handle it. There's enough restaurants. The hotels are gigantic. Everything's first class, and people are gambling all day and night. It's funny, when I walked back to the hotel after the game, basically, and I'm looking at the crowd, it's a mob scene walking over the bridge. And I realized that about 40% of the people walking over were turning right into Mandalay Bay and gambling. It was like, okay, we saw the game. It was great. Now let's gamble. And the tables were all filled up and everything else. So the amount of things you can do there besides watch the game is going to hold a lot of people, and there's a lot of money to be made. CBS was getting $7 million for 30-second commercials.
It is incredible. I mean, I was out in Vegas for a Super Bowl. Obviously, that wasn't in Vegas, but the way that the floor on the casinos fills immediately after the game, because everybody's watching the game in the sports books, and then it's a mad dash to the craps table and the blackjack tables after the games. It is quite a sight to see.
Yeah.
Pat, I'll ask you our poll question. Who makes it back to the Super Bowl first, Kansas City or San Francisco?
On Kansas City, I'm not betting against Mahomes, and I'm not betting against Spags, and Andy Reid is not retiring as of now, so the chemistry's there. The salary cap, which I talked about, they have space. I would say they're the ones coming back. This Mahomes deal, when you push this guy, I am really offended by the people who think Kyle Shanahan should leave. He's exhausted his stay. That's such a dumb thing to say. Marv Levy lost 4 straight times, and he went to the Hall of Fame. So this nonsense, people are attacking Kyle Shanahan like, it's time for him to go find another job. That's dumb. They wouldn't have gotten this far without him.
I was going to say 4 NFC title game appearances in 5 years, 2 Super Bowls. I think there's a few franchises that would sign up for that. It's just that losing this game is hard, and people don't handle it well. Is there one thing that somebody has told you about Mahomes that is something that we can't see?
Well, I'll say a couple things about him. I've talked to him plenty of times now, and I've talked to other guys on the staff about him. He really doesn't have an ego. He is really a team guy, and he lives by team principles all the time, and he embraces his friendships with his players, his teammates. It's important to him. So he's had enough success that if he had that in his system to be a prima donna, he would have been one. He is not anything like that. He's very engaging. Jimmy Miller grabbed him on the field after the game, and he was talking to Jim for a while, just having a good time. And I find him intriguing. He had a lot of stress considering his off the field dad problem before the game, his brother issue, but he can isolate his football and keep that other stuff away from affecting him. So he's quite a remarkable human being that way. I think that's why he's going to be great. He's never going to turn himself into some prima donna. He's not going to be talking philosophy. We know a guy that's, the Jets got new uniforms. I can't wait to talk about that real important issue. Rodgers has had a personality that gets to be a little ridiculous, but this guy's never going to have that. And
Pat, I mean, this offense is going to be better next year, don't you think?
Yeah. They found a running back. They got to go get 2 tackles. They're stuck, though, with Jawan Taylor. He's the contract. They're not going to be able to get out of that contract for another year or 2. They learned the hard way, which I love this. They thought they had to check release Kelsey, and back in late November and into December, he was like blocking half the time. Once they figured out, let's get into the spread and let's get the ball out of your hand fast, they were able to handle that situation. But they need a left tackle. How many players, left tackles, if they ever become free, would love to be there? It's a guarantee you're getting postseason recognition every year.
Can the behind the scenes workings of the NFL, there is a lot of video that is out there, not just from Sunday, but from the whole playoff run and really throughout the season. Essentially, Pat, people around the league are complaining that the Chiefs don't get called for holding. Although they did during the regular season, and they didn't hardly at all in the playoffs. And if you think about who they played, That doesn't make any sense. To some degree, it does because they call us penalties in the postseason. But I'm just wondering, Andy Reid is almost like the modern day Shula in terms of they don't get called for a lot of stuff. All right. And I'm wondering, a lot of video gets sent to the league by a lot of teams. Do you think that is going to start to have any effect? Because there's a lot of playoff video out there, Pat, of defenders getting tackled by Chiefs linemen with nothing being done about it.
Yeah, I see them. I saw the same things everyone says they see, but what I don't think they do is study the other teams. I watch every game every week. I have to. That's my job. And I have to get guys ready. And those kind of storylines come up all the time. But first off, look who they picked to run the Super Bowl. Vinovich and his all-star crew. Okay? He had these two teams, as you guys know, in the last Super Bowl. He is not – he averaged 10 penalty calls a game during the regular season most of the time. Almost always double-digit calls. He had San Francisco in the regular season. He called 16 penalties in the game. 10 of them were against San Francisco. He got to this game. I was a little nervous because there were 8 penalties at halftime and 4 penalties in the second half. Holding happens every day. And as an official said to me at the airport, I saw, Bill, he's not going to throw a lot of flags. The NFL doesn't want a lot of flags. But here's what I say. If you're going to cite Kansas City, which you can, you better cite the rest of them, because all these guys that have mobile quarterbacks and these quarterbacks escape in 8 different lanes, it forces and causes holding all the time. So will they do something about it? No, they won't do anything about it. And they're going to have to start thinking, well, is this a real Kansas City issue, which is what the media likes to say, or is this an issue that's going on around the league? I don't want them calling holding all the time. You guys want to have boring football? Bring it on. Offensive holding calls. When they say it could be called every play, that's the damn truth.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I like that you bring up the fact that it's, if you're going to cite the one side, you got to cite the other. Pat, we got less than a minute. What's the biggest thing you're concerned with going forward right now?
Oh, what the league rules will be. There's this the push to, and I laugh at it because it ain't going to happen, but to bring back a kick return. They're not doing it. And I had to deal with that yesterday a couple of times. And they're studying the XFL. Forget all that. They got the NFL where they want. There were no returns during the Super Bowl. And do you think one person watching or at the stadium cared? They didn't. They've been programmed to not care anymore about kick returns. But we'll deal with all the rule stuff as we go into. I get nervous now. David knows. It's the darn competition committee. What are they going to come up with?
Well, if you could just lock Rich McKay out of the room, everything will be fine. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today Show, and he joined us once again courtesy of Pinchers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date?
Bye-bye,
I'll
guys.
bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection. And this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500 and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000 and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Wow, I've got the 4-letter network on. They're getting pounded with snow right now. That storm's going through. It's
Yep.
Whew.
Well, first off, logically, I mean, I hope they're not angry at the Eagles. I mean, it's the NFL's decision to have a game in Brazil. They had to pick somebody. You figured they were going to pick an NFC team because NFC teams have 9 home games this year. So, then you just start looking at who's played an international game last. Here's the other thing, Logic Man. A lot of owners will do this to curry favor with the NFL. Now, they won't say it publicly because their fans are all angry and they don't want to find out that their ownership did away with a home game. But sometime ownership will do favors for the league.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until the top of the hour, our final segment along the network, and then the Diamond District bonus hour kicks in a big way. There's some sports news that's taken place during our show today. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I think it's representative of something, Mark. And by the way, welcome back, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. We just had Pat Kirwan on for a couple segments. Last hour, we had David Samson on. If you ever missed any part of the show, go to floridasportsnetwork.com and download what it is that you missed. But Jorge Soler signed with the San Francisco Giants this morning. Soler is a power-hitting outfielder, not a high-average guy, but, with the Marlins last year, he hit 36 homers. Now, he didn't have a ton of RBIs because the Marlins struggled offensively. He didn't have a ton of guys on base. But Soler, I mean, he asked for a Braves fan. He was huge in the playoffs when they won the World Series. He's going to be 32 at the end of the month. And the Marlins, Mark, didn't put in a serious bid. He was making $13 million a year. He opted out of his contract because he could. He ended up signing a 3-year deal for $14 million per. And the Marlins didn't seriously pursue keeping him.
For a guy that had 30 jacks with him.
And,
a team that struggled offensively all year. I mean, they didn't hit the ball.
And if you can't afford to keep guys making 13 and 14 million a year, I mean, it's just the fact of life.
The division they're in too, David.
Right. It's interesting. I know the Rays have to make tough decisions, and when guys start getting to a certain amount of money, they usually unload them. But man, I don't know. I know he's a little older than you'd wish, and you wish he did be a little bit more of a contact guy. I don't know what to tell you. How many guys do the Marlins have with 36 home runs in the middle of the lineup? I mean, since Giancarlo Stanton, how many guys have the Marlins had who had 36 homers in the middle of the lineup? I just, that's the stuff that if you're a Marlins fan, you go, man, are we really going to be able to compete if we can't keep a guy who hits 36 homers a year for $14 million? We ain't talking,
No, you're not.
Right.
I mean, that's relatively cheap.
Right. 3 for 42.
Relatively cheap. It's really cheap for a 30-plus home run guy. There's no guarantees he's going to do that next year. But,
man, oh, man, you're trying to compete. You've got the pitching, too. You've got the pitching that everybody's trying to take off your hands. I know he's probably a little older than you wish. It's probably just a touch more than you want to pay. But, how are you going to replace that? That's the type of stuff. You made the playoffs last year. You're trying to compete. The National League is very mediocre. The National League's a lot like the NFC right now. I mean, it's not that good. I mean, for goodness sakes, a team that won 84 games went to the World Series. The year before that, a team who won 86 went to the World Series. I mean, that's the league you want to be in. Yeah, over 162 games, the Braves and the Dodgers will crush you in 1 week. They could be beaten in a week.
They've proven it.
Right. The Dodgers, all the division titles, all the winning that they've done. Mark, in the last 12 years, how many World Series have the Dodgers won?
One, David.
Yeah, and it was the pandemic year, by the way. All right, the Braves. And listen, it's the best organization in baseball. They've done an amazing job. But hell, they just had two teams that won 210 games over the last 2 years. How many World Series in the last 2 years did they win? That'd be 0. They won it the year before, actually, when they snuck in with 90. I mean, I don't know. That's one of those things, Well,
until they, and I don't know if they'll ever change the playoff format, but right now the playoff format's not working for the top seeded teams. It's not.
Right.
For whatever reason, maybe it's just dumb luck. Maybe it's the time off.
Now, if anything, and by the way, we mentioned this with David Samson an hour and a half ago. You know why the A's and the Rays situation is maybe a lot more interesting than most think it is? It's holding up expansion. The commissioner said it last week. Commissioner said this A's situation's holding up our expansion plans. Well, that's a ton of money that would then get dispersed around the league. And believe me, right now, a lot of these teams need it because of the whole Bally's regional deal going south. These teams actually need money. And secondly, with 2 extra teams, there's a chance for 2 extra playoff teams in each league. A lot of people are of the belief that if baseball goes to 32 teams, that then they'll go from 6 to 8, which does what, Mark? Generates more playoff revenue.
More revenue, more teams in the playoff, more winning,
and
a new TV contract.
And what did you just bring up? One of the problems is the top teams are not necessarily winning in the playoffs, and they're blaming the layoff, not playing in the first round, and then the series are too short. Well, if everybody's playing by the same rules, nobody's having any extra days off, the series are, that's the other thing that likely will come with expansion, which the Rays and the A's are holding up. So, all right, anyway, Marlins officially lost Jorge Soler this morning. He signed with the Giants.
Our poll question today is who will make it back to the Super Bowl first? Kansas City or San Francisco? With a lot of voting early, David, San Francisco getting just a mere 8% of the vote.
Wow.
People have learned, David, you do not bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Wow. They've made 4 of the last 5 NFC championship games. The NFC is clearly weaker than the AFC. And does anybody think that the Niners, who are you going to pick to win the NFC next year instead of San Francisco? Today, guys haven't been cut because of free agency, the whole deal. We got to wind this back. We'll do it all over again. Who are you picking if not the Niners?
I can't say it out loud. I know the team that
Trent, answer the question for Mark. Who's he picking?
The Detroit Lions.
No, I'm not.
The Dallas Cowboys.
That's the other. Laugh just as hard at that one.
How about Green Bay? No, seriously, I'm just curious, and because everybody's voting for the Chiefs, which is fine. And listen, you can argue it both ways. How many teams make 3 Super Bowls in a row? Which obviously the Chiefs would have to do to win that poll question. If it's next year, and let's face it, this is the NFL, we don't ever think more than a year. I voted for the Chiefs, but said neither of these teams will make the game next year. I don't think the Chiefs will go to 3 straight. And I know the Patriots did it. 16, 17, 18 seasons, they did it. Okay. And, Mark, we've detailed it. Okay, outside of New England, losing Super Bowl 17 to the Eagles and then winning the Super Bowl the next year, teams who lose in the Super Bowl, hell, they struggle to make the play. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Eagles, the losers in the Super Bowl last year. Look at what happened to them this year. Wild card, lost in the first round.
In fact, David, you're better at this, but didn't we go on like a 12-year run or 10-year run of teams that lost the Super Bowl not making the playoffs the next year? I mean, it was
an
epidemic for a decade.
Right. Forget making the Super Bowl. They weren't making the playoffs. The Super Bowl hangover was more real for the loser than the winner.
Yeah, the winner was going back to the playoffs at least. The
Right.
loser wasn't even making the postseason.
So, I mean, I'd much rather pick an NFC team the conference isn't that good.
Well, I think here's the problem with the way that, not that it's a problem, but the reason people want to go Chiefs is because, David, you talk about how the Niners have been to 4 out of 5 NFC Championship games. Chiefs have been to 5 out of 5. They've won 3 of them.
No, they've been to 6 out of 6, actually.
So who's more likely to get to the Super Bowl between those two options? It's until the Chiefs prove they can't make it, they're going to be there.
It is interesting.
Hosted most of them until this year.
The Chiefs are 3-3 in AFC Championship games in that 6-year run. Or no, they're 4-2. They're 4-2 in those 6. The Niners are 2-2, and the 4 that they've been in the 5-year period of time. For what it's worth, I don't think either team's going to make it back next year. I don't. The Chiefs had a lot of things go their way in the playoffs. Okay,
They had everything go their way in the playoffs.
and
They really did. They ran into a depleted Miami defense. Buffalo was banged up, and they flat out beat Baltimore.
the thing that I do really like about the Chiefs, though, is, outside of Kelsey and 29-year-old Chris Jones, everybody, all their key guys are young. Their offensive line is not. They got to retool that on the fly. And Chris Jones and Snead, their top corner, are both unrestricted free agents. They can only tag one. So, they're going to go back to the bank of Mahomes, and he's going to turn his salary into, cold hard cash. Mahomes is already on record as basically saying he's going to try to be Brady. He's going to try to keep renegotiating the deal for 15 years to try to keep as much of this gang together as he can.
And he's got enough side income going right now where he can get away with it.
Yep, absolutely.
Brady had Giselle. Patrick's got every single ad known to man.
I know. If you thought Mahomes and Kelsey had a lot of endorsement deals before the Super Bowl, hell, they won. Now, I'll be curious how many of the Kelsey ads go away if Taylor dumps them. But, how much money is he making because of her? Because she's raised his profile. Even though he was one of the 5 greatest tight ends of all time and was going in the Hall of Fame before he started dating her, she's obviously raised his profile significantly. And now he appeals to a new demographic that weren't even aware of him. And, so, but I'm just curious, if they break up, how many of the national endorsement deals go, when can we get out of this?
It depends on how he's depicted in the next album that she will write.
By the way, I think they're engaged before training camp. All right. And that could be a poll question also. So what happens in the next year? Chiefs return to the Super Bowl. Niners return to the Super Bowl. Travis and Taylor get engaged.
Would Andy Reid be in the wedding party?
Listen, as long as Jason is there, that's. Have you seen the video that's emerged from them partying after the game?
I've seen some, yes.
Oh my good. As long as the older brother is there, everyone else will show up.
Tell you what, he's the best big brother ever.
Whew.
Not many big brothers would be able to handle the success of little brother and be right there for all of it and enjoy it. Take it all, going to Buffalo and doing that. Come on. He just had his season ended.
Mm-hmm.
Painfully.
Yep.
And went on this ride with little brother.
And little brother ended up being on the winning side in the Super Bowl against big brother. Yeah. No. I'll tell you what, with the way Jason's partying, if he comes back, he's actually going to have to really start working out to come back to the Eagles. We're talking about today's Fat Tuesday. Jason Kelsey's been living since the Bucks eliminated the Eagles. Like every day is Fat Tuesday.
And we've been enjoying the absolute hell out of it.
Oh, man. So I think Jason Kelsey's coming to a TV screen near you next year.
Probably Thursday nights would be the most likely place for him.
Ooh, he hasn't met with them yet. All right. He's met with ESPN and Fox. Oh, he's meeting with them. Don't get me wrong. He's meeting with everybody. But so.
Will he get a raise?
I don't think so. I think he's taking a pay cut.
Taking a pay cut. Okay.
I think he is. Come on. Because I think Jazz, wasn't he making 8 figures? Wasn't the first
making 8 figures? Okay. All right.
I'll look that up. I thought he was making around 10.
Well, if that's the case, he's taking a pay cut. I didn't think his number was that high. But there's no doubt the networks are going to fight over him. And it'll be a pay cut, David, but it won't be much of a pay cut.
All right. Technically, his salary was a little over $1 million, but they gave him a $10 million signing bonus. So he put 11.3 in the bank last year.
It's a pay cut.
It's a pay cut.
The salary will be higher. There's just no bonuses to that level. Miller and Moulton along the network. Thanks so much for listening. In the 239, Jason and Todd bringing the Diamond District bonus hour next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Trent, I'm texting with the boss. He asked for you to call him today. I just sent you his number.
All right. Will do. You say when or just after the show?
Just said this afternoon. So,
all right.
Trent's calling your wife? What's going on?
No, Marty. Yeah, I know. Because clients still don't have invoices, and then he's telling me they haven't paid, and I'm having to deal with this crap, and it's getting really annoying. I'd just like somebody to do something other than Miller or Moulton.
That'd be nice.
Somebody.
It'd be nice.
Well, if there's anything you want me to slip in there and just inquire about.
Not yet.
All right, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks so much for being with us on this day before Valentine's Day. I don't know. May want to go visit the guys. They could help you out. If you need something, that's where you should go. Just saying. It's getting late in the game. You know, this isn't one of those you run by Publix and you grab some flowers on the way home deal. That's all. You need to put a little effort into this one.
I checked again this morning. The wife has tried to say that
right.
I don't have to do anything for Valentine's Day.
And you think deep down, you're like, am I being set up?
Well, she doesn't set me up. That's not her nature, but it's still Valentine's. I'm like, because she said, pick up something for the daughter, some candy, or you got to run to the store and get the daughter something today. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Okay.
And I just looked at her. I said, the daughter. And I still,
yeah, okay.
I don't have the guts to not get anything. So it'll be a card and some candy. There'll be something.
Right. Right.
But if you screwed up Christmas or her birthday or your anniversary, or if you did something big,
right,
and Jason and Todd are where you need to go.
No doubt. No doubt. So you're the NFL, and somebody brought this up in our Twitch chat room. They picked the Lions to be the Chiefs' opening day opponent for the 2023 season, and hell, it was damn close to having that be the Super Bowl. So if you're the NFL, these are the Chiefs. AFC only hosts 8 games next year. NFC teams host 9. So obviously you got the 3 division games. Well, to me, the whole Sean Payton Denver thing, with or without Russ, I don't think that has any sex appeal.
None.
Raiders, healthy rivalry.
If they had a team that was a formidable opponent, and right now we don't think that they do. And I know they beat them on Christmas Day, but that's a great rivalry, David.
It is. However, and I don't think the NFL wants to have a division game be the week 1 game.
I agree.
For the Chiefs. But do you give him Harbaugh and the Chargers? Do you have his debut there be day 1? That's my thought, that if the NFL were to go a division game for the Chiefs for week 1, I think the Chargers actually would be the pick, not the other 2. But I think the Bucs have a decent shot of being the game. If we take the division out of it, here are the other 5 Kansas City home opponents. Baltimore, rematch of the AFC title game, CBS will lose their minds that they're losing that game. Bengals, same deal. CBS will be like, are you serious? You can't save those games for us? You gave them the Lions last year. You don't have to give them the Ravens or the Bengals. Okay, what are you doing? You can give them anybody. Well, the Texans might fit that category.
There you go. There you go.
But they have two NFC opponents. The AFC West plays the NFC South next year. And the two home games for Kansas City are the Saints. There's nothing to that at all.
Nope.
No, there's no way that makes NBC. Mark, I think it's the Chargers, Texans, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker and the Bucks.
Yeah, I think it's Houston.
Okay.
I think there's a lot there to sell. That's a team that we're gonna see a lot. They're gonna force feed us a few more Texans games than they have. That they're gonna invest the league, that is, in CJ Stroud and telling us that that's the next team to watch. I wouldn't at all be surprised if that's the game that they give us. Now, if they're gonna go to the Cincinnati and Baltimore is where they'd want to go.
But I don't think they'd do that to CBS. They know that they can put it's the first game in over 200 days. They could put the Saints, okay, and we're still going to be foaming at the mouth and we're going to watch. We are. So I don't think that they'll do that to their one broadcast partner and say to CBS, we're taking Joe Burrow and the Bengals away from you. We're taking an AFC Championship game rematch away from you also. I mean, Fox and CBS are really getting hit hard between Thursday Night Football, the improved Monday Night Football schedule, Sunday night getting a great schedule every year for the obvious reasons. I think they'll try to take care of CBS with Baltimore and Cincinnati. Obviously, could be wrong. It'd be very sexy. And they've done very sexy before. They've done Super Bowl rematch. They've done AFC Championship game rematches before. They have. So between the Chargers, the Texans, and the Bucks, if you were the league, who would you choose?
I would choose the Chargers. I would do the Harbaugh thing. But I'm with you. I think this is where you and I in the room would go, hey, do we need to throw a marquee game up with the first game?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to watch.
Right. We can throw them anything. So who fits the criteria of, here you go. Here's a team that had a pulse last year. Because remember, the Lions were coming off a 9-8. Didn't make the playoffs, but finished real strong. Won 8 of their last 10. They were 9-8, and everybody thought, Detroit's going to be good this year. The NFL said, okay, we'll put that to the test. Give them the Chiefs.
And Houston fits that criteria perfectly.
Now, Houston and Tampa are the same team, different conference. Both won the South. Both won a home playoff game. Both got beat in the second round. Huh, okay. So I'm wondering, since they went, NFC opponent for the Chiefs last year, do they do the same thing again? I think the Bucks are a finalist for the first game of the year.
How many primetime games do you think the Bucks will get next year?
Well, that's just it. They don't get a lot. This would actually make Amazon, it would make Monday Night Football, okay, it would make them very happy. They'd be like, give it to NBC. Yeah, no. Because, Baker moves the needle a pinky finger. Really? The Texans don't even move at that.
No, but you don't need the opposition of Patrick Mahomes
exactly
to sell this game.
Right. But meanwhile, for Monday Night Football, regular season game, or a Thursday night Amazon game, those networks are kind of like, no, could you give us something to sell here? Bucks and Texans are tough to sell. Chargers, have been pushed for a while, but coming off a 5-win season, if they didn't hire Jim Harbaugh as coach, they wouldn't be getting a lot of primetime games.
No, but they will now.
They'll get 4 or 5 now. Here's the other reason for Tampa Bay. Of the 3 teams that we mentioned, Texans, Chargers, Bucks, if you had to bet right now, who do you think wins the most games next year?
Boy.
Houston.
Okay.
You know, you are just, you continue to do this to me when you put the Chargers in questions and you make it really appetizing for me to pick them.
Oh, I know. Well, we've already proven that you're like Tyreek Hill. Remember, supposedly Tyreek Hill filed for divorce. Okay. You filed for divorce from the Chargers. You publicly stated you were divorcing the Chargers. We daily, Trent and I, check the paperwork. The paperwork has not been filed.
Much like the Rays' new stadium.
Exactly. It's sitting in a drawer somewhere. We know, okay, you're angry with the Chargers. You are. You feel betrayed by the Chargers. You can't trust them anymore. You're not ready to give up on them, though. You're not. Deep down, you love them.
You're right.
Yep. And now, what did the Chargers do? They went and supposedly got their act together. Now the Chargers are coming back into your life with Jim Harbaugh, looking at you going.
All he does is win wherever he goes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chargers, Bucks, Texans. Who wins the most games next year? Chargers.
Okay. And Trent's with the Texans.
Both the Bucks and Texans are going to play first place schedules.
Also, if you're the NFL, the reason I ask that question is that you're scheduling this game for September 5th, not November 5th, not December 5th. So let's just say in the NFL circles, you think that of those 3 teams, Tampa Bay will be the worst of the 3. Don't you want to use the Bucks when you can? Let's use them week 1. Okay, why? Well, we don't even know if they're going to be any good by Thanksgiving, but for week 1, it won't matter. And we get to sell Baker and the Bucks. Coming off a playoff win, you know, Baker's got a national profile, all those ads for a couple of years. We'll sell Baker and the Bucks. Who cares if in November they suck? The game was September 5th.
Is there any chance this is the season they put Tom Brady in the Ring of Honor? Because if that's the case, it's in Kansas City. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Sorry.
And the Bucks could end up with a second primetime game. They could end up with an Amazon game at some point.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they get a Monday Night Football game even. I don't think they'll get 4 or 5 primetime games. I think the max you can get is 5 or 6.
Right.
But yeah, I think Tampa Bay will get like 3. But you know, when you're the NFL and you're looking at teams, and you know there are 8 teams that all the networks want, and then you got to schedule the other 24. I'm just wondering. I think the Bucks are a finalist for the first game of the year.
If you are convinced that the Cincinnati game is off the table and the Baltimore game is off the table because of CBS, then I definitely think the Bucks are a medalist. It's just whether they will finish with the gold, silver, or bronze in that.
Now, it sounds like the way you asked the question, you're not convinced that the NFL won't go, you know, full bore that first game. They'll go.
They've done it so many times, David.
They have, but I'm just wondering if what they did last year. I mean, you got to admit, when they put the Lions last year, everybody went, "What the heck is the NFL doing?" Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
And you think Green Bay is going to be the opener with Philly?
Or the Steelers? See, I think that, and that's the other thing. I think the NFL is going to push far more of their chips in on Brazil than they are on September 5th.
And I know that they go back and forth, but Pittsburgh at Philadelphia is technically a CBS game. The Packers at Philadelphia is technically a Fox game. I don't know if that matters. You know what I mean? I just don't know if that matters.
Yeah, I don't know anymore either, since they don't stick as hard and
They
true
don't,
to that
they don't
anymore.
stick to that. I will say they got the air working again. I mean, in case you were wondering, the air it's
freezing.
It's working. Well, I leave it this cold because it is so hot on Trent's side of the glass.
It is.
That it's not fair for me to turn the AC off because it just turns into a sauna on that side.
I'm pitted out after every show.
Yeah, me too, but I do that every day.
I guess I probably would be either way, just because that's what happens when you're talking with your hands and doing all the,
I'm just fat.
Hey, it's Fat Tuesday.
So the Bucks have never played on Thanksgiving, apparently, and Tampa Bay goes to Detroit next year.
You know what? That probably is a top 3.
Okay.
Because of the playoff game,
Right. Gut feeling. Do you think that they'd put one of the division games on Thanksgiving? They did this year, right? Wasn't it Green Bay?
It's been a divisional opponent every year since 2019.
Okay. So you got the divisional opponent, or Rams, Seahawks, Jags, Titans, Bucks, Bills.
Tell you this right now, if the Chicago Bears draft Caleb Williams, it will be the Bears at the Lions on Thanksgiving.
I could see that. By the way, I totally just misspoke because they played the Bills last year.
Yeah.
And then 3 years ago, they played the Texans, and that was a weird one. But I think it should always be a divisional game.
I don't.
Why not?
I just don't. I think you're showing off the league. I'm not worried about black and blue games. I'm showing off. I'm trying to.
I will say, though, this year they played the Packers on a Thursday twice. I hate that. I don't think divisional games should be on a short week twice in one season. But yeah, David, that's interesting. Bucks, they could definitely be Bucks or Bears, maybe.
The Lions are hosting Tampa this year again?
Yes.
That's too bad. I was hoping that would be in Tampa.
Yeah. Like it was this year. Fun stuff. I just missed that one. That was like 2 weeks before I got down here.
So for the heck of it, crossover divisions. The NFC South plays the AFC West. The NFC North plays the AFC South. NFC East plays the AFC North. And the NFC West plays the AFC East.
God, they even get Jacksonville at home. They play 2 Florida teams. They play them both in Moulton, Trent.
Weird. I can't even tell you when the last time the Lions played the Jags was. (2017) maybe? I don't think they've ever played Trevor Lawrence.
No.
2 years ago, 2022.
They did?
Detroit beat them 40-14.
Oh, yeah, I was at that game. Okay, that was in the midst of their whole big run to finish 9-8. That's right.
They've played 8 times in their history.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, and some final thoughts and a pick or two coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Just having some fun, looking ahead, playing the schedule game. Chiefs, he figures, won the Super Bowl. They'll be the first game of the year that Thursday night, September 5th. The Eagles are the designated home team the next night, Friday night, the 6th, in Brazil. Miller and Moulton think that it'll be either the Packers or the Steelers that will be the Eagles' opponent in Brazil. Obviously, could be wrong, but just guessing how the networks do things and what have you. I think, Mark, and to tell me if you agree, that the NFL will push more of their chips into the Friday night game in Brazil, making it as sexy a matchup as possible, as opposed to pushing their chips in on that first Thursday night when they can just throw Mahomes and Kelsey and maybe even Taylor Swift in the house and the Chiefs, and does it really matter who they're playing?
Totally with you on the Chiefs. The Eagles game is going to be interesting because you basically can look at their schedule. If they're not going to go division games, they're not going to go 2 teams that are playing in Europe. So you basically have it down to the Falcons, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Packers.
Right.
And the Steelers have the longest drought of any of those 4 teams of playing an international game.
You know, we don't think, because we believe the NFL is going to really celebrate and go all in on this game in Brazil. That's why we think, and Carolina and Jacksonville are 2 teams on Philly's home
Carolina and
schedule.
Washington.
I'm sorry. And they're playing international games.
So they're out.
Okay. And that's why Atlanta, and who's the other team?
Atlanta, Cleveland.
Cleveland. And we don't think Atlanta and Cleveland are sexy enough. Sorry, fans of the Falcons and the Browns, for the NFL to push in Brazil. Packers and Steelers are national teams, national fan bases. Now, I don't know how many of them will travel for the game. I mean, hell, it's 10 hours direct to Brazil from Atlanta and Dallas and Houston. Never mind coming from where it is, you know, you'll be coming from with Green Bay and Pittsburgh, but also, it's only about 45,000 seats, apparently, in the soccer stadium that they're going to, you know, set up here to play the game. So they don't have to sell a ton of tickets.
That's not going to be a problem.
No. But just from a television standpoint, Friday night also, bad television night. NFL is going to want this to work. And that's why we think they'll make that matchup as sexy as possible.
And I think it's going to be Green Bay.
And I think it's going to be Pittsburgh.
And here's why. Western Pennsylvania high school football is a monstrous deal.
Yes, it is.
I don't think they're going to put the Steelers in that part of the country up against high school football.
That's a really, really good thought.
Wisconsin high school football is not Western Pennsylvania high school football. It's not anywhere close.
I like that thinking. That's very smart. Because you're right. It is a BFD.
All around Western Pennsylvania. And they're all Steelers fans.
And I'll bet you the Rooneys are saying that to the league also, going, hey, man, you can't do this to us. Cannot do this to us. You'll make us look bad, and it's not our fault.
Same thing, really, with Cleveland.
Yeah.
And around that part of the world, high school football is a BFD. I think the Packers are the leader in the clubhouse for that one.
I like it. I like your thinking. I do. I think the Bucs have a really good chance of being Kansas City's week 1 opponent. I really do. We've narrowed it down to, if it was a poll question, Chargers, Texans, Bucs, as to who's going to be Kansas City's week 1 opponent. For the record, and I'll try not to, make this too complicated. The crossover divisions this year, if you're a Bucs fan, the NFC South teams play the AFC West this year. So you determine if that's a good draw or not. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're a fan of an NFC East team, you're playing the AFC North, arguably toughest division in the league. If you're a Lions, Packers, Bears fan, might as well just throw the Vikings in so I don't alienate that fan base. You're going to play the AFC South, which sounds like a pretty good crossover division to have. AFC East plays the NFC West. So a lot of travel involved in those games. AFC East, NFC West. Those are your conference cross-division matchups. Schedule comes out second week of May.
There'll be a 2-hour special on the NFL Network to release the schedule, at least 2 hours. If they can, if they can figure out a way to do 3, they'll do 3.
Absolutely. What else are they going to talk about? It's the NFL Network. It's not like they have to break away for, a Big Ten softball game or anything. Speaking of which,
the Big Ten ad.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's gorgeous, and it's going away, and it'll never be the same.
You said a lot there, Trent. You kind of contradicted yourself midway through that.
We're talking about the same thing, right? The ad where they show all the schools popping up out of the. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the ad they ran in the Super Bowl about the Big Ten coming to CBS.
Okay. I thought you were talking about that gorgeous.
You
animation.
like that?
Oh, I love it. It makes me happy every time I see it.
Did you hear it in his voice? It makes me happy.
And it's going away is my point, because they're bringing in the West Coast now, so they can't do that anymore. I'm sad. Anyways, go ahead. Super Bowl ad for the Big Ten. Sorry.
And really, it's a CBS promo.
Promo, right.
Is what it was. And it didn't air everywhere. Okay, because local affiliates, they can cover a network promo. They're not supposed to, but they can. Like, I might have missed it because I didn't see it. I was watching social media and they were talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't see the ad here in Jacksonville. So
we saw it here.
Okay.
In the 239.
But yes, I mean, look, hey, if you're spending $300-something million a year, might as well promote it, right?
And what better time to promote it than during the Super Bowl? Just to remind everybody.
Watching. Yeah, just a few people watching. Yep. So I actually think, and I mean, we only have a couple minutes till we break. Listen, the SEC is the best football conference. That can't be argued. Am I wrong, or is the Big Ten set up pretty damn well in the short term? I mean, first off, I'll tell you right now, I'm picking Ohio State to win the national title. I'm going to do that right now. I'll be all over the Buckeyes next year. Now, Michigan's going to lose 5 games next year. But Penn State's going to be preseason top 10.
Oregon's going to be really good.
They're going to be preseason top 5. And USC's really serious about football. I mean, am I missing something, or is the top of the Big Ten, whether we think of these teams as Big Ten teams or not? I mean, that's 2 West Coast. That's Ohio, Pennsylvania. Michigan's the defending national champs. Washington's lost a lot. They're going to be like Michigan. They're going to go 7-5. They're going to have a tough bounce back year. But I don't know. I think the top of the Big Ten. I'm not going to go the whole overall depth of the conference, especially with Oklahoma and Texas being added to the SEC. But, Mark, I think the top of the Big Ten is going to stare across at the top of the SEC next year and go, we could play this game. You guys may be deeper, but we can play this game.
And which one gets 4? That's really the question. Does Big Ten 4 outrank SEC 4 when it comes time to determine who's in the college football playoff? Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when what's on tap and maybe a bet to finish things off.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Do you remember your first kiss? How about your first date? I'll bet you can recall that first Valentine's Day you were together. Or maybe that'll be this year. Valentine's Day is a celebration of love and affection, and this is where the Diamond District shines. Diamonds make a perfect Valentine's gift. Whether you're getting engaged or choosing a beautiful gift to fine jewelry, you'll want to visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. For Valentine's Day this year, Jason and Todd are offering you 5 years interest-free financing. Choose a beautiful diamond bracelet for $1,500, and you pay $25 per month. Stunning diamond earrings for $5,000, and you pay only $83 per month. Valentine's Day starts with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and ends in romance as she unwraps her beautiful new diamond bracelet, stunning diamond earrings, or magical gemstone jewelry, including emeralds, sapphires, rubies, tanzanite, and more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
And I don't, because I always feel like Sparty gets slighted on it.
They kind of do.
Well, a lot of these things happen right around the Nassar thing.
And
I mean, even, when the ESPN did all those college football things, and I didn't realize that Sparty's mascot finished second to UGA as the most popular mascot in the country. Okay, those are usually things you market. And like ESPN doesn't, and they won't anymore. Now they won't. I'll be interested to see, what do you think? Do they just get rid of the song on game day and not include any of the Big Ten teams?
Ooh. Well, didn't they redo the song last year?
Well, they just, not really. It's the same song with Darius Rucker singing on it now. But I mean, do they redo the song completely and just neglect the Big Ten? Because they're not coming to your city anymore.
Yeah, no, I think they keep it. What I think will be interesting is how many times do they try to bring game day? Or see, because it's a really fine line. You want to keep doing it. Yet at the same, because if you don't, Mark, you've got 2 SEC networks.
Right. No, right.
And so they want to stay national, yet almost all their football's now in the Southeast. Well, ACC and SEC Yes, they've got the Big 12, but I mean, how many times do we think they're going to be in Utah and Arizona? They'll go to Colorado once, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we got Marquette at Butler. Butler getting 4.5. We got North Carolina at Syracuse. Syracuse getting 8.5. Those are the two that fit the criteria. Ranked teams, top 10 teams going on the road.
Oh, we got 3 tonight.
Oh, Iowa State at Cincy's favored.
Yeah, but we've played that before.
Okay. It's basically a pick 'em, so Cincy just took Houston down to the end too.
The Syracuse one, it's a lot of points, but man, they're not good.
Well, he called them out the other day, and they responded. Actually, they've lost 2 out of 3. They lost at home to Clemson by 9 Saturday.
Empire, the ACC isn't effing close to the best basketball conference. It's not even in the conversation. The Big 12 is the best basketball conference, and it ain't close.
Yep.
Ain't close.
That's been the case the last handful of years, too.
By the way, Indiana State is back ranked.
I love that.
I know.
And the last time they were ranked, Larry Bird.
That's why I told Mark yesterday. I mean, I said it kind of tongue in cheek, but that Michigan State beat them. That's going to end up being a really
a quad
nice
one win.
Yeah, a great win for the resume.
Well, they got the Illinois win. That should be enough to get them in the tournament.
Yeah, that was a big win.
Boy, they're right on the bubble, though.
I know.
They're last 4 in, first 4 out everywhere.
That's interesting. Geno Smith's salary becomes fully guaranteed if he's still on the roster Friday.
Right.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final segment on this Fat Tuesday. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. The Diamond District bonus hour. Hit them up if you need them. Get you through tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Also the start of Lent. Okay, just saying. Just saying.
You give anything up?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Do you double? Does the wife give something up and you eat twice as much of it just to spite her?
No, I don't do that. But my wife gives something up every year. She does. The one year she gave up chocolate, I argued with her for days. I'm like, what are you doing?
My daughter asked me what I was giving up, and I said I was going to give up ice cream. And she said, please don't, Dad, because then none of us can have ice cream for 40 days.
That is tough.
I don't know what to tell you, honey. These are the rules.
I know. You do the shopping, you do the cooking. It is tough if you give something up. The trickle down's not good. I like the fact she's figured that out.
Oh, she's already got me beat. And I know it'll just get worse.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right. This one probably could be disputed because I've spent at least 2 commercial breaks trying to figure out if this is right, and I still can't for certain. 1861, Lincoln was declared president today. He wasn't inaugurated until March. He was elected in November, but he was declared president apparently today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Today in 1937, the Boston Redskins received permission to move to Washington, D.C. 1976, Dorothy Hamill wins gold at Innsbruck. She was a really big deal, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. The haircut, it swept the nation. My mom got
so did mine.
The Hamill cut.
Yeah, and she had their own move, the Hamill Camel, right? Wasn't that the...
That's right.
The Lake Placid games opened today in 1980. Nothing would happen at those games.
No, pretty uneventful.
96, Tupac releases All Eyes on Me, his 4th studio album. Last one he did while he was alive. I think one more was released after his passing. And Super Bowl 56 was 2 years ago today. The Rams took out Cincinnati 23-20. Cooper Kupp, your MVP. Golfer Patty Berg, Chuck Yeager, Jerry Springer, Sal Bando, all born today. Mike Krzyzewski, 77. Singer Peter Gabriel, 74. Rocker Henry Rollins is 63. Hockey player Matt Sundin is 53. And Randy Moss is 47. What did I miss, David?
I don't know. I didn't have it being a huge day. I'm trying to think whether or not the very first Medal of Honor was given away today, back in 1861. You know, noteworthy. They gave it to an Army surgeon. All right, could get into the story, but you know, and pretty much, you know, that's it.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to California for the good, where it could have been bad or even ugly. But a giant schnauzer by the name of Holly fended off a mountain lion in the backyard. A 3-year-old, 93-pound canine fended off a mountain lion. All the security cameras at the house captured the attack. Holly struggled with the cougar for 48 seconds before neighbors who witnessed the attack were able to chase the predator away. Holly was treated for a gash to her neck and is recuperating at home. For the bad, we go to Lake Wales, where a mechanic for the Polk County School Board is in a little trouble after he abandoned an airboat in front of the sheriff's substation on Sunday. An airboat had fallen off a trailer while being towed by a dark Ford F-150 in front of a Polk County Sheriff's Office substation in Lake Wales. Fire department called the police department to let them know. While the sheriff's department was there, the boat's owner returned with another man to retrieve the boat. Jonathan Whitesides began yelling at the other man, criticizing how he was attaching the boat to the trailer. The deputy at the scene told him to calm down. According to the sheriff's office, that's when Whiteside became irate with the deputy, took an aggressive stance, and charged in his direction. Not much charging was needed, or not much was needed to stop the charging Whiteside because he was smashed. Blew a .334 when they took him down, 4 times.
Whoa!
Limit.
Whoa! You can barely stand usually if you're .334.
And he was driving a boat or trailering a boat. Finally, the ugly. We go to Woodbury, Connecticut, where Reverend Herbert Miller was pulled over. And he's a Methodist minister. And he was putting the meth back in Methodist, David.
Uh-oh.
Because the 63-year-old pastor had him some meth with him. No word on how that's going to affect Sunday's sermon. It did land him in the county jail.
That's my church. Way to represent. Never been prouder.
Mark, I've never heard that line before. You know, I married a Methodist minister's daughter. I'm going to use that right after the show. I'm going to walk out and go, hey, you ever meet anybody who put the meth in Methodist?
By the way, did you come up with that, or was that in the article?
That was in the headline.
Okay, I was going to say, that's clever.
I stole it in the headline.
That's really good. Put the meth in Methodist.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on this Fat Tuesday, February the 13th, 2024.
And no, it's not Fat Tuesday because, well, I'm fat. And it's Tuesday. Because if that's the case, well, every day would be. So, you know what? I don't know if this is TNT's doing. I don't know if this is the league's doing. But I'm actually a little impressed. Because normally, when I tell you that an early game tonight is Miami at Milwaukee, and a late game tonight is the Lakers at home, don't you think that would be the TNT doubleheader? So while the Heat are 8.5-point underdogs in Milwaukee, likely no Jimmy Butler, he's dealing with a death in the family. The TNT double dip, 7:30, OKC in Orlando. OKC a 2.5-point favorite. And at 10 o'clock mark, Sacramento at Phoenix, you know, the Stars in Phoenix and what have you. But, I mean, I'm impressed they went OKC Orlando early and not Miami Milwaukee.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned because they didn't know who was playing and who wasn't playing. But
right.
To get some Magic, a nationally televised game, all right.
Well, and for that matter, I don't know how many people have seen OKC. And they're really good, incredibly young. And now they're adding Gordon Hayward to the mix if he can get healthy, which he hasn't been able to do much in the last 4 years. So anyway, those are some of the 6 NBA games. Remember, Bucks played last night and won. You think they cover the 8.5 at home tonight against Miami without Butler?
I wouldn't play it, but I would take Miami in the points, believe it or not, David.
Okay.
They had a big emotional game. It's hard to get that type of performance back-to-back nights from a team.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to put our theory to work tonight.
There's a couple good candidates. David.
We got 3 of them, David, and one of them starts at 6:30.
Your
My
favorite
game of the night.
6:30 FS1. Folks, if you don't know our system, here it is. Ranked team, preferably highly ranked team, on the road facing unranked dog. 4th-ranked Marquette, 4.5-point favorite. Marquette hasn't been ranked this high very often in the last 50 years. 4th-ranked Marquette, 4.5-point favorites at Butler.
At Hinkle.
At Hinkle. Great play.
We'll take Butler in the 4.5 in that one. North Carolina, 7th-ranked Tar Heels, are an 8.5-point favorite at Syracuse.
7 o'clock ESPN. So we can monitor our money tonight, Mark. FS1 ESPN, 6:30, 7 o'clock. We're getting 4.5 with Butler, 8.5 with the Cuse. Hey, Shane in the business department, your orange need to show up tonight.
Or we're coming after you in the morning.
Yeah. And are you
there's one more ranked. I've already played it. There's one more ranked team on the road. Iowa State's at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 1.5-point favorite. I have already played that game. We're only getting 3.5 with Butler, by the way, too. The Hard Rock app not giving us that extra point.
Man, come on, Hard Rock app.
Hey, they've been following you guys. They've been tailing you guys.
Listen, Iowa State's been really good. I mean, Iowa State won at Texas. They lost at Baylor by 2. I mean, Iowa State won at TCU. This is going to be a tough one for us tonight.
23rd ranked Indiana State. That's right. Indiana State in the top 25 for the first time since 1979. They're an 18.5-point favorite hosting Illinois State tonight in Missouri Valley basketball.
The Sycamores ranked for the first time since Bird. How about that?
Oklahoma and Baylor play tonight at Baylor. Baylor, a 6.5-point favorite. The 12th-ranked Baylor Bears against the 25th-ranked Sooners.
Gators, solid favorites tonight. 10.5-point favorite at home. 8 o'clock SEC Network. Gators hosting LSU. Florida State, meanwhile, 9 o'clock on the road. ESPNU. They're in Blacksburg facing Virginia Tech. Miami off tonight. UCF at BYU, by the way.
NHL, all kinds of games tonight. Tampa is at Boston. Big one for the Lightning. Should be a solid game right there.
You know, they haven't met very often in the playoffs. They played that epic conference final. Was that 2011 when it went 7? Game 7 was 1-0. All right. A great series. And they really haven't met, you know, they both have had a lot of runs here. They both have had deep playoff runs. They very rarely have faced each other.
And the likelihood is they probably won't this year, because even if the Lightning fall back into that wild card spot, the odds are they'll play the other division's leader, because it looks as if Boston will have the most points. But Florida's still closing in on the Bruins, and the Panthers could win that division. So you could have a 2-3 matchup possibility. But Tampa, Toronto, and Detroit all fighting for the 3 spot in the Atlantic. The other 2 are the leaders in the wild card race right now, as the Devils are the odd team out, 4 points behind both Detroit and Toronto.
Do you bet on Ovechkin scoring again tonight? He scored in 5 straight games. He and the Caps are hosting the Avs. Just curious. I mean, he's on a roll. I'm sure there's a prop bet out there. Do you bet on Ovechkin scoring tonight? Do you just keep betting on him until he finally doesn't score?
I love it. We've been on a little bit of a heater, and Moulton cannot find enough things for us to bet on. Last night, nothing fit our criteria.
Nope.
So we didn't make a bet.
No, one was close, though.
If David had his way,
and we didn't play it. One was close. We didn't play it. We would have won big. Because Texas Tech was a 3.5-point favorite. We're playing Cincinnati tonight. They're a 1.5 favorite. We wouldn't play Texas Tech last night. They were 3.5-point favorite. Just saying. I'm mad. We left money on the table last night.
Here's an interesting one. Hard Rock is running a boost. You guys know I love these. Florida, UCF, and Kentucky all to win is plus 900. Now, UCF would be the big upset there. They're taking on BYU. They're 12.5-point dogs. But Kentucky and Florida both big favorites. So if you think the Cougars can come through for you, that's boosted to plus 900. And those are the kind of bets I like to make, because I can only, I can wager $2 and win quite a bit.
Kentucky, I think, lost 3 in a row at home, something that they haven't done in that building before.
And I don't think UCF's winning on the road.
No, I don't either. But I'm going to sprinkle on it, because they are giving me the boost. They're hand wrapping it and giving it to me.
They're hand wrapping it and giving it to you, and what you're going to give them is your money.
$2. They'll take it.
I'm envisioning the scene in Rounders when he's sprinkling the chips on the table. Okay.
I'm just seeing sucker written right across Trent's forehead. Miller and Moulton. We'll do this all over again tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for listening on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the